Hello everyone and welcome back to The Other Castle.
The Other Castle, I'm Andrea.
And my name is Tom.
Here on The Other Castle, we do the plot, lore, and more behind all your favorite video games.
That includes telling you the production of the game up through the entire story of the epic game itself.
That's so much. And if you want to learn more, you can check out our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com. Over there, we have links to our Instagram, our Discord, our item shop, as well as our Patreon.
Our Patreon is $2 a month. There's a 7-day free trial, and there are monthly episodes both on and off season. So even if we're taking a break, we're not taking a break.
Never. We are never resting for this show.
Is it starting to show?
I'm tired, boss.
Let's go touch some grass. After this episode, which I'm really excited for.
Oh, I'm so glad you're excited because for me, it is my number one. My favorite, my all-time top video game that I love more than any other game ever made.
We've already done Red Dead Redemption 2.
No, that's yours.
Oh, which one am I?
You're Andrea.
Fuck.
No, this one we are doing is Final Fantasy VI.
I'm going to throw this out there. I've never played one, but I know everyone loves 7.
Everybody does love 7. We'll get into a little bit why people love 7.
Okay.
But 6 holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts.
You also just like to subvert expectations. You're like, you guys love 7, but yeah, have you played 6?
I do, but I don't think this is one of those cases.
Okay.
So, Final Fantasy VI was made by Squaresoft.
Ah.
Now, Squaresoft was founded just a couple weeks after I was born in September 1983.
Oh.
They originally made text adventures for PC until 1986, when they struck a deal to produce Nintendo games for the Famicom, becoming one of the first third-party companies to form teams to make games instead of individual creators, as was the tradition in the industry up to that point.
And those teams are actually pretty commonplace now for most studios to be like, all right, that's Team X game, that's Team Y game, whatever.
Fully, it's very rare to see a single creator now.
Mm-hmm.
They produced several games, with none of them reaching financial or even critical success.
Oh, that's gotta be really hard.
At a pitch meeting for their next title, someone suggested an RPG series, as their rival, Enix, had recently seen success with their new Dragon Age game.
Squaresoft, looking at Enix, I'm seeing the puzzle pieces coming together.
Yeah, right? Definitely. So a team of 5 set out to make the next project. It became so expensive, it put Squaresoft on the brink of bankruptcy.
And they had 5 people to blame for it.
Yeah.
Oof.
Figuring they were probably going to go out of business soon, they named their game Final Fantasy. It was a smash hit in Japan, and in a shock to everyone involved, an even bigger hit in the US, because JRPGs were unheard of in that market, as they simply didn't sell well at all, especially on a home console. Over the next few years, they would produce 5 more Final Fantasy titles, 2 and 3 being exclusive to the Famicom, never seeing a US release to the NES. 4 was a Super Famicom title that was released in the United States as Final Fantasy II. 5 remained exclusive to Japan. Then 6, which was released as Final Fantasy III in the United States.
I need you to draw me a chart.
I know, it's so freaking confusing, isn't it? It wasn't until Final Fantasy VII did the majority of US audiences even realize they had missed out on 4 Final Fantasy titles.
They go, wait a minute, the numbers don't match.
Not at all. Those other 4 would later release on the Game Boy Advance, which is why today 4 and 6 are correctly titled as such. But for many years, my favorite game was named Final Fantasy III, despite it actually being number 6.
Did you know that when you were younger and playing this?
I didn't right away, but in becoming a fan of it, I learned more and more about it.
That must have been fucking wild to be like, oh yeah, no, I love the 3rd one, and then you dig into it and go, there's so many more.
Yeah, there's a lot more. The first 5 were great games in their own right, each one tweaking the series a little more to make it the juggernaut it would eventually become, allowing each entry to stand on its own with an original story, world, and cast of characters, despite using many of the same elements and themes.
Was the gameplay pretty similar title to title?
Yes, they were very similar in terms of how they had battle systems, but as you would with most sequels, you tweak things here and there to make it a little better.
Okay, cool.
The driving force behind all of it was a man named Hironobu Sakaguchi. He led the 5-person team who developed the original title, then went on to direct the next 4, while taking a step back for number 6 as he was promoted to president of the company. assigning Yoshinori Kitase and Hiroyuki Ito as the co-directors of Final Fantasy VI. Kitase directing the story, while Ito focused on the battle systems. And Kitase is still in charge of the series to this day.
That's great.
The intention was to create a game that no longer looks like swords and sandals, J.R.R. Tolkien-inspired roleplay. They wanted to include technology and machinery to see what magic and might could be in a more advanced civilization.
That's a very clever evolution of the genre.
Fully. They also wanted to make a game without a main protagonist, aiming for an ensemble story instead so players could choose who they relate to most in the story. Each character receiving their own movesets and actions as well. By the time 6 had come out, Squaresoft was dedicated to releasing a Final Fantasy title yearly to compete with Enix's Dragon Quest series of games. Yearly.
Y'all were eating good in this era of gaming.
Fucking good, right?
How long is it taking for GTA 6 to come out?
Oh, stop.
Holy shit. Now, I think we are on year 12 after GTA 5. So, waiting for 6. God, yearly. What a beautiful world.
This beefed the development team up from the original 5 to now over 40 team members working on different aspects of the game.
Now that they made money, they have payroll. Let's go.
For example, prior to 6, sound effects were always designed by programmers who had finished their work early.
Oh, they were rewarded with,
Right.
All right, now you have to make the beeps and boops.
More work, right? But this game was going to have an entire team dedicated to sound by contrast, including Nobuo Uematsu, the series composer since day one. Since they wanted to go in a new direction, they brought on some new talent to help guide it, including the young and ambitious Tetsuya Nomura, who designed 2 of the characters in the main ensemble, then went on to be the lead character designer for the series on all titles moving forward,
Oh, that's cool.
as well as the creator of the Kingdom Hearts series.
I knew he sounded familiar. He's the guy that loves belts.
Yeah, and gray
Silver hair,
yep.
He knows what he likes.
They also brought on Kaori Tanaka, who later changed their name to Sayori Saga, future creator behind the Xenogears franchise.
Wow.
Final Fantasy VI was built from scratch in just 1 year, pushing the super generation of the Nintendo consoles to their absolute limits.
Oh my god, I can imagine.
Releasing in 1994 as the largest and most successful entry to date, taking the entire world by storm.
Wow.
Except in the United States.
Oh shit. Were you the only one playing it here?
It flopped,
Oh.
not even cracking 1 million copies.
Oh, but they made their money back everywhere else in the world.
Everywhere else, it was a huge hit.
The US was just their shittiest market.
Yep. And it was mainly due to the fact that American audiences were not familiar with this style of video game. But RPG fans picked it up, including myself. While it had its fair share of bugs and issues, they were pretty avoidable and were only present if you were attempting to find them.
Okay.
A remaster was released on PlayStation 1 shortly after the 7th game changed everyone's brain chemistry.
And then people were like, wait, let's go back and see what led to this, because holy shit.
Yeah, so they added some pre-rendered cutscenes to the pixelated masterpiece. For the vast majority of gamers, Final Fantasy VII was their entry point into the series. And for them, that's the best offering they had created. When the remaster of 6 came out, people were confused by the pixel graphics, not sure what to make of this old game from 5 years ago. So Squaresoft kind of saw Final Fantasy VI as a failure in the West, which is probably why we've only ever seen half-assed attempts to keep it alive over the years, with a couple shitty ports to different platforms. Fortunately, time has been very kind to Final Fantasy VI, as people have become accustomed to different art styles, so long as the gameplay and story are good. Today, we have the pixel remaster of all the first 6 games in the franchise. Some translations have been changed. They removed the pre-rendered cutscenes as they didn't age well at all. And today, we have a pretty faithful recreation of the game I and millions of others fell in love with over the years. As many, to this day, consider it the greatest adventure in the history of gaming.
Holy shit.
With a villain that would make Sephiroth his pool boy.
Okay, let's go.
I have to say, as someone who specializes in detailing the stories of video games, I have yet to find one that has beaten this one.
Really?
They set the bar so incredibly high. I've only ever seen other studios match it. In my personal opinion, nobody has set the bar higher.
Oh, these are big words, Tom.
Huge words, I know. Final Fantasy is still going strong all these years later. Even after their tumultuous separation from Nintendo a couple of years later when Squaresoft opted to be a PlayStation exclusive for Final Fantasy VII. But that's a story for another time. Because this one is going to be very long. So let's get going. It's time to saddle up your chocobos, Goombas.
Choco what?
Because this is Final Fantasy VI. The game greets the player with a song featured in every numbered main series title since the very first entry. Originally titled Prelude and later renamed Crystal Theme, it's a melody played on a harp, and it brings a sense of comfort and familiarity to fans of the Final Fantasy series. There is another song entirely called The Main Theme, but it isn't featured at all in a few of the games.
They fucked up naming this whole thing.
Yeah, Crystal Theme is kind of like Hedwig's theme from Harry Potter. It was never intended to be the song most associated with the series, but there was something special about it, and the song took over that role.
When it sticks, it sticks.
It was so unintentional. It was the last thing Nobuo Uematsu composed for Final Fantasy I, throwing it together in just 10 minutes as something to have playing over the load-saved game screen.
That's gotta be so frustrating when you're like, I shit this thing out and it is the best thing I've done. I spent 3 months working on this thing. No one gives a shit.
He actually says the main theme, the real one, is his favorite thing that he's ever composed.
And no one cares. Oh.
No, people care. It's still,
yeah.
People that know Final Fantasy would know this song, but this one's still more iconic.
But the one he shit out in 10 minutes is the one that gives people goosebumps.
Yeah, players heard this song every time they fired up the game, so it became the most memorable piece of music as a result, sticking with the series through to today. After selecting New Game, the screen goes black, and a classical song titled Also Sprach Zarathustra, more commonly known today as the theme song for 2001: A Space Odyssey, begins to play over a stormy sky as lightning flashes, revealing the clouds through the darkness. As the song crescendos, the title appears through the storm. The camera pans down to reveal a snow-covered cliffside, overlooking a small, steampunk town built into the mountain.
Everyone's got monocles and crazy hats and shit.
Yeah, a little bit. This game takes steampunk to its limits, building entire civilizations around the concept.
What a wild thing to see. Just like, the convention has exploded.
Yeah. Words appear over the scene, giving the prehistory of this world. The ancient War of the Magi ended 1,000 years prior, eliminating all magic from the world. In its place, iron, gunpowder, and steam engines took over as the prominent method of progress, allowing the world to prosper.
The Industrial Revolution killed the magic industry?
Yeah.
Oof.
The camera pans over the small town, while people bustle around, going about their day, as ominous music plays over the history lesson. We next see a castle, in another location far from the town, made entirely of metal, almost pyramid-shaped, towering over a large city. With the words continuing on, saying that there is one person who seeks to reawaken the magic that was once common across the planet, desiring to use that power to conquer the world. Just before the scene changes to another location, a man dressed in bright yellow, green, and purple is seen walking through a door to the castle, clearly in a hurry. Back at the mountain peak, the words ask, could anyone truly be foolish enough to repeat that mistake?
Yeah. That's how history works.
That's how, power-hungry motherfuckers work, right? The words vanish, and 3 characters approach the ledge, looking down on the town below. They're riding in big mech suits, roughly 15 feet tall, and act as an exoskeleton, with the person controlling it riding out the top of it.
That's my dream mode of transportation.
Right, just to ride around in something like that.
But like great views because you're a little higher.
Yeah. 2 of the characters are soldiers, dressed in brown fatigues and big stormtrooper-style helmets. The third is a woman, with bright green hair and a ponytail, completely unprotected from the elements. She takes a back seat while the others talk. The 2 men are named Biggs and Wedge in the English translation, a Star Wars reference, as they are names of very minor characters featured in that franchise. Biggs and Wedge show up in a lot of Final Fantasy games as a running gag.
Oh.
They're not the same characters, just the names are reused.
Do they have the same energy when we see them over and over again?
Not at all.
Okay.
No, they completely change the characters every time. They just pick two and give them those names.
Cool.
They're saying that they can't believe an Esper has been found here 1,000 years after the war. Biggs doesn't believe it's true. But Wedge says it must be if they were allowed to bring her along. Biggs approaches the green-haired woman, saying, "Ah yes, the witch." Wondering if it's true, she fried 50 Magitech armor soldiers in under 3 minutes.
Fried soldiers! I love her. She sounds fucking rad.
It makes him nervous having her around. But Wedge reassures him, saying that the crown on her head makes her a mindless puppet.
Oh, that sucks.
She won't breathe unless they tell her to. Wedge commands the other two to roll out, saying they'll approach the town from the east. Then a moment occurs that makes every person who has ever played this realize they're in for something special. Using the pixelated graphics in a way nobody ever had before, the camera falls into a third-person view behind the 3 Magitech armored soldiers, slowly marching through the snowy mountains toward the town. All while Nobuo Uematsu's breathtaking score pulls you in as the opening credits scroll by.
That's cool.
The 3 of you arrive in town, and Wedge says that the girl will take the lead, saying to remember what we're here for, and not to mess around with the riffraff. The town is named Narsh. Being a pre-voiceover game, there's some debate on how to pronounce it. Narsh, Narshi, Narsha, but I grew up calling it Narsh, so that's what I'm saying here today.
Narsh.
It's a mining town, which is why it's built into the side of this mountain. As you stomp through the streets, guards appear saying that the Empire has no place in Narsh, so they attack. But they're no match for Magitech soldiers, and the 3 of you absolutely decimate them with your specialty moves like fire or ice beams and gas attacks.
Oh, that's cool.
While Biggs and Wedge are named, the girl just has a series of question marks where her name should be. When you're in a battle, she has twice as many abilities as the other two, including an option for magic. The 3 of you wreak havoc on your way toward the mines, with intel that the miners recently started a new dig and uncovered an Esper frozen in ice. That's what the 3 of you are here to take, despite the townsfolk putting up a fight to protect their find. They even unleash their secret weapon, a lightning whelk. It's your first boss fight, and it's a big-ass snail that can absorb lightning attacks.
Lightning snail.
This is all just tutorial for the basic controls, teaching you weaknesses and how to exploit them. Most of them being the basics like fire hurts ice, water hurts lightning, vice versa on both.
And it's the system of the turn-based attacks and everything and switching between characters and everything, right?
It's not.
Oh, okay.
So JRPGs up to this point were mostly turn-based due to them being modeled after Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Squaresoft utilized the Active Time Battle System, or ATB for short, which added a little flair to turn-based gameplay. Each character must prepare an action before it's their turn. Some characters prepare quicker than others thanks to their stats. There are also spells and abilities that can make a character prepare faster or slower. After a character is prepped, the player can then select their actions. The thing is, the enemy is also on a timer, and when their turn is up, they can make their move. So you can get attacked while you're still making your decisions.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It's really a think fast, dumbass.
Yeah, this allows for way faster paced combat than the traditional turn-based model.
That's really engaging.
While this game didn't invent ATB, it did perfect it,
Cool.
resulting in ATB being used for the next several entries up through Final Fantasy X.
Goodness.
From there, it's pretty straightforward RPG mechanics with XP and leveling up your characters, working the menu screens and switching around equipment to best suit the situation you're facing throughout the game. After defeating the Whelk, your group ventures further into the mines, where you find a gigantic ice crystal.
I love the idea that you're leaving behind this big ass dead snail that's
Yeah.
like kind of frying a little bit with the electricity.
I just pour a little salt over it.
Oh God.
Inside the ice is a frozen bird-like creature. It's massive, towering over all of you, even in your mech suits. As you approach, it begins to glow, giving off an eerie light and hum. Wedge says that it's giving him the creeps. The girl is drawn toward it, maneuvering her mech closer. The ice glows brighter, and the girl shines with it. Wedge looks around scared and then screams as he vanishes into thin air.
Oh no!
Biggs freaks out, wondering what just happened to Wedge. The girl and the ice glow again, and Biggs disappears too.
Oh.
Now alone, they glow at one another some more, and then a tongue of lightning shoots out at the girl.
Tongue of lightning!
The bolt destroys her Magitech armor, and she falls to the ground unconscious. The girl with the green hair, tied tight in a ponytail, wakes up inside a house in town. Taking control of her, you get out of bed and a man rushes over, saying that he only just removed the crown a second ago, and you're already waking up. You say that you can't remember anything, and the man explains that you were wearing a slave crown. It robs you of everything, and they had complete control over you.
The irony of using a crown to control someone when a crown's usually the top of the monarchy versus
Right?
the bottom, and that's fascinating just off the bat.
Fortunately, the effects are short term, and you should have your memory back soon. The game now officially introduces you to the girl, as it will do with every character that can join your party. The screen will go black, the character will take center stage, and a little blurb about them will appear.
You get their bio.
A little bit, it's not much of one, it's like 3 lines. Such as hers, saying that she's a mysterious young woman, born with the gift of magic, and enslaved by the Gestalian Empire.
Oh, poor girl.
You're then able to rename the character to anything you want. As a kid, it was all my classmates, as there are a lot of names to fill in across the 14 playable characters.
Stop. You said ensemble, and I was like 6, 7 maybe.
No.
Oh, 2, over a dozen.
It's 14 that are able to join your party. Over the course of the game, you'll take control of about 30 different characters.
That's a lot.
It's so fucking many. Of course, they all have preset names, so we're going to stick with those.
Okay, thank you. If you start just naming people from fucking Indiana.
This green-haired girl is named Tara. Relaying your name to the old man, he's impressed with the speed of your recovery, saying you must be a remarkable young woman. Suddenly, dogs barking can be heard at the front door, as the guards of Narsh have heard the Magitech armor pilot was brought here, demanding the old man open the door and hand over the girl. She's a soldier of the Gestalian Empire, and they're here to take her into custody. Knowing you weren't in control of your actions, the old man says these fools won't listen to reason, and tells you to sneak out the back door while he distracts them.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
There's a secret entrance into the mines from his place, and from there, you should be able to sneak out of town. So you make your escape. But you don't get far before a guard sees you going into the mines, and you have to fight your way through them, using your mysterious magic powers as you do.
When you're decrowned, do you have the same skill set that you did earlier?
So you don't have any of the powers of the Magitech suit itself, and it had a lot of laser beams and shit.
Got it, that was part of the set.
That was part of the set, yeah, but your magic retains with you.
Cool.
Eventually, though, you are cornered in the mines, as you don't know your way around, and the locals know the tunnels very well. They push you against a wall, completely outnumbering you, when the floor beneath gives way, and you fall to a chamber below.
Oh, that was convenient.
Your brain already being made of scrambled eggs, you try to walk, but fall over, fully concussed.
She just took a tumble. She's been through a lot.
In a sepia-toned flashback, you remember the day you had the slave crown placed on your head. A man wearing a long cape named Kefka puts it on you, saying that with it, he can control you and the magic you possess. He's the same man you saw walking through the castle briefly during the lore dump in the prologue.
Oh.
He laughs a silent laugh, then puts you to the test. As you ride in a Magitech armor suit, he giggles with glee from the sidelines as you destroy 50 Magitech soldiers with ease.
Wow.
As the soldiers die, the flashback transitions to another scene. It's the balcony of that metal castle. You stand next to an empty Magitech suit, off to the side, as Kefka and 2 other generals, a man and woman, stand by his side. All while Emperor Gestal himself gives a speech to his army, saying that the Gestalian Empire stands at the dawn of a new age. The lost power of magic has been rediscovered.
Good.
And of course, it's lent itself to this grand empire.
I love the idea of the resurgence of magic after the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, right?
That's cool.
Kefka leads the other generals in a rousing chorus of "Long live Emperor Gastal" as the soldiers below cheer. The flashback ends, but you're not taken back to Terra. You're taken back to the old man in the house. Through the back door, a young man wearing blue comes bursting in.
Bastard man.
The old man says it took him long enough. What, was he too busy robbing and plundering to get here on time?
Ooh.
Here, we are introduced to Locke, the treasure hunter. Or thief, as most people call him. Either way, he's well-traveled and sneaky. Locke asks what he's needed for anyway, and the old man says that he's met the girl. Locke freaks out in excitement. The old man explains that the town of Narsh absolutely has the means to stand up to the Empire, but won't, not wanting to risk everything they have. They're not up to joining the resistance group that he and Locke are a part of, known as the Returners. But this girl could be the key to helping the rebel cause. He tried explaining the whole slave crown thing to the town elder, but he wouldn't listen to reason, so he had to sneak her out of here. The old man tells Locke which direction he sent Terra, and asks him to escort her to Figaro. The Returners have allies there.
I don't love the name Returners as a rebellion group.
I hate it so much. It is one thing that I have never liked is the name The Returners.
I wonder if that's a translation thing.
I don't know if it is. The guy that did the translation, he had 30 days to do the entire thing.
Oh, God. You know what? I take it back. He's eating.
Yeah, exactly, right? You got to give him a little bit of leeway there.
I just feel like, we're the Returners. That's not cool. That's not rebellious or badass. It sounds like a movie with a bunch of chipmunks trying to get back for spring, you know? I'm thinking of a very specific thing, and I can't really put it all
The
together.
Rescuers?
The Rescuers!
Locke heads off toward Terra, and the scene cuts to her, lying on the ground, unconscious in a cave.
This poor girl's been knocked out a couple times.
Locke rappels down like a boss, and lands next to the knocked out Terra. Glancing down the cave, he sees about 20 Narsh guards approaching, feeling like his chances are already fucked. Suddenly, from behind, he hears a small, squeaky voice say, "Kupo!" Turning around, Locke sees a bunch of 3-foot-tall, white, furry koala bear-like creatures,
Oh,
each sporting little pinkish red bat wings and a little red palm on their head.
this sounds adorable. Do they make a squishmallow of it?
They probably have, yeah.
Aw.
He refers to them as Moogles and asks if they're here to help. They respond, "Kupo!" And Locke's like, "All right, let's do this."
I love so much the trope of an adorable creature just saying gibberish and someone going, I know exactly what you mean.
Fully right.
Absolutely. Yes, Kupo, let's fucking roll.
Max Haas.
Yeah. Well, he's not a cuddly little, he's just a man with some brain damage. But, you know.
He's pretty cuddly.
Yeah.
You're now split up into 3 parties. 2 consist entirely of Moogles, while 1 has Locke with a grip of them. All of their names containing the word Mog in some form, like Mogrit or Mogwell.
Margaret is great. I love that. That's so adorable.
You can switch between the 3 parties throughout the battle, as there are a shitload of enemies to kill and the game has barely begun. All with the intention of keeping Terra safe from the Narsh guards. After the battle, you take control of Locke, thank the Moogles for their help, and pick up the still knocked out Terra. You carry her to a secret exit in the mines. While getting the door open, Terra wakes up. She explains the whole amnesia thing, and Locke promises to keep her safe until her memory returns.
Sorry, I was roofie slaved.
Saying that first, he's going to have to take her to Figaro Castle. The king there is no friend of the Empire. The 2 of you set off for Figaro, which is located in the middle of a desert. Narsh being high up in the mountains, it's a bit of a journey.
Yeah, that's a completely different biome.
Final Fantasy being one of the first series to feature an open world, with 6 being one of the largest in the series, spanning an entire planet.
Whoa.
You thought San Andreas was large. Out in the wilderness, you will encounter enemies galore in random encounters that will absolutely show up at the worst possible moments.
Oh, always. No items, low on HP, fucking exhausted and over it.
Yep.
They know.
But you'll also have so many battles, grinding isn't really all that necessary later in the game unless you want to be OP as fuck.
Okay.
South of Narsh lies Figaro Castle, and when you arrive, the guards let you in saying the king is expecting you. Unlike the Gastalian castle, this one is made of stone bricks, but again with a little steampunk flair. The king is in his throne room. He has long blonde hair, held back in a ponytail at the top and bottom, keeping it tight and straight down his back. His clothing is teal and yellow, and he has an air of cockiness to him.
Most leaders do.
After a quick chat with Locke, he declares, "And this is the girl?" Terra asks just who he thinks he is, and the king responds, "I'm so sorry. Where are my manners? I shouldn't be turning my back on a lady, especially on our first meeting." We are then introduced to Edgar, the king of Figaro. He's the steampunk version of a tech guy.
I feel like a lot of steampunk people are actually tech guys. 'Cause
Probably, yeah.
It's an expensive hobby to have.
He's really into engineering and likes to brag that Figaro is the most advanced castle in the entire world.
Oh yeah, this is just a coder they know. His name is actually Edgar. They just put him in there like, you know what? He's a fucking character. Let's go.
Locke asks Terra if she's surprised a lowly thief, treasure hunter, like him knows a king.
I want Locke and Nathan Drake to have a drink so bad.
Oh, that'd be great conversation. Then he says that he did his part in making the introductions and leaves to rest in the castle's spa. Edgar tells Terra not to worry about hiding her identity here like she did in Narsh. Figaro and the Empire are allies, but only on paper. So she'll be welcomed while in Figaro wherever she goes.
It's a sister city, but we're the cool sister.
Yeah, definitely. Offering her his finest living quarters to rest. It's not in his blood to harm a lady after all.
I appreciate the niceness, but he's being a little misogynistic about how gentle he's being with her, you know?
Yeah, he's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Terra asks if this is all because of her special abilities. The king says that he's helping her for 3 reasons. The first being Terra's beauty. It's captivated him.
You don't open with that. You close with that to make it a transition and be like, and can I buy you a drink? Come on, dude.
Well, he follows up with the second reason is because he wants to figure out if he's her type.
Ew! No, dude.
Her abilities being a distant third at best.
We should restack these, though, just for posterity's sake, dude.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say it now, because by today's standards, Edgar is problematic at times.
Yeah.
But he's an all-time absolute fan favorite grade A badass on the battlefield, so please try to cut him a little slack for being a product of the times.
Yeah, and you know what? In monarchy, there are a lot of rules about how women are treated, unfortunately.
Absolutely there are.
This is a different world. It's also not real.
It's not real, yeah.
You know, there might be an equivalent Edgar who's a tech engineer who says "milady,"
Right.
But like, that doesn't mean that's this guy, and that doesn't mean that guy exists. So we're just gonna go with it.
Well, Edgar leaves, wondering why Terra didn't swoon after what he just said.
I put in the nice tokens. Why didn't sex come out?
Terra thinks to herself that other girls might have, but she's not like other girls.
Oh, god damn it, Tom!
In talking with the other women in the castle, Edgar is an equal opportunity flirt.
Oh, he's slutty.
He makes every woman he meets feel special and like she's the only one in the world. With more than one saying that it's closer to chivalry than it is horny, honestly.
I do appreciate that almost immediately later. They're like, we need to have some women who respect him to show he's not a creep.
Fully.
And he's hitting on her as just this is how he communicates with anyone in this bucket.
That's exactly who he is, yeah. The High Priestess in the castle has been around since Edgar was a child, revealing that he has a twin brother, which takes you into a flashback. Edgar is in the royal library reading, when his brother comes running in. His hair is much shorter, but still blonde. He wears his high and tight, with a little rat tail hanging off the back, instead of a long pony.
They're twins. We have to find a way to differentiate them.
He's clearly the muscular one of the two, wearing a tank top exposing his beefy arms. The brother asks why everyone in the castle is talking about Dad's successor all of a sudden. Is he okay? Edgar yells at him for being so blind. Hasn't he noticed how thin the king's face has become? Edgar storms out of the room crying, leaving his brother behind confused.
Oh.
We are then introduced to Sabin, a prince who gave up his throne for freedom. The scene returns to the High Priestess and Tara, where she wraps up the story saying Sabin left when he was still very young. Nobody's seen him since, and she wonders how he's doing all these years later. After scoping out the castle and getting some rest, you return to the throne room, and Edgar asks you how you're enjoying your stay. But he's interrupted by one of his guards saying that someone from the Empire is here to see him. Edgar scoffs, saying it's probably that dipshit Kefka. The scene cuts to the desert, where Kefka is walking through the sand with two soldiers. He's wearing bright clothes, more closely associated with a clown than with a general in an army. But he's not the court jester. He's the Emperor's right hand.
Oh.
Kefka complains loudly at the stupid orders the Emperor has given him, cursing Edgar for living in the middle of the damn desert. Looking down at his shoes, he goes, "There's sand on my boots?"
In the desert, God forbid.
The soldiers both dive at Kefka's feet and each clean one off for him.
Ugh.
They stand and salute him, saying that the sand is all gone, sir. Kefka emits a laugh that haunts the dreams of those who have heard it, maniacal yet controlled. Then he turns and continues their trek toward Castle Figaro.
I will just never care about anything as much to say, oh no, there's sand on your shoes in the desert, and then dive to clean them off.
For any other human being.
For anything.
Kefka enters the castle, tossing Figaro guards aside, demanding an audience with the king. Edgar meets with Kefka in the castle's courtyard for all to see, asking what he's doing here. Because Edgar heard that the Empire has been invading independent nations all over the world and conquering them, hoping that the alliance between Gestalt and Figaro is still in place. Kefka tells him to calm down. The Empire's dealings with other nations is no concern of Edgar's. So Edgar asks, what brings the Emperor's court mage to Figaro Castle then?
Calling him a court mage just to be like, I fucking hate you.
Kefka tells the king that a girl recently escaped imprisonment, and they heard she was hiding out here. Edgar asks if this girl in question is the mysterious witch everyone keeps talking about. Kefka says there's no witch. That's just a lie the rebels are spreading. The girl is a thief, and she stole something of minor value from the Emperor. Now is she here or not?
That would give her and Locke something to bond over. She is actually a little bit of a thief.
Right, that'd be cool. Edgar thinks for a moment and then says, you know there are more women here than grains of sand in the desert, right?
Whoa, Edgar has a harem?
How am I supposed to keep track of all of them?
Okay, so he started creepy. Didn't like him off the bat. Now he's like, ugh, he's kind of balling hard.
Oh.
He's kind of balling out of control. Like, that's a hard fucking line to be like, there's more bitches here than grains of sand. Like,
Ugh.
Come on, dude.
They come from everywhere to see me.
Yeah, I didn't like him at first. I'm onto it now. He's kind of cool.
Oh, he only gets cooler, I promise. Kefka laughs, saying that he hopes for the sake of his precious kingdom, Edgar's not hiding her. Then he departs to report back to the Emperor.
What's his report? Edgar got so many bitches we couldn't even look for.
You take control of Edgar and find Locke. He heard everything and is worried they'll find out about Tara. Edgar tells Locke to hide her in one of the towers, while he and his Chancellor make a plan in the event the Empire returns. Locke and Tara hide out, and Locke tells her about the Resistance, and how Edgar puts up a front that he's allied with the Empire, but he's really a rebel leader working with the Returners. Locke is the messenger between the rebels and the king, being so adept at sneaking around. Tara is concerned, because she's a Gestalian soldier, at least as far as she remembers. Locke tells her that she's not a soldier anymore. She's a rebel now. The Empire was just using her. What's important is that now she can decide on her own. So she's choosing the Returners, right?
You don't want to go back to enslavement, right?
Tara says she doesn't know what to think. It seems like everyone is trying to use her. Locke leaves her to rest, saying he knows that she'll make the right choice in the end. Tara falls asleep wondering how she'll know if she's chosen the right thing.
Oh, that's just the eternal struggle, baby girl.
That night, Edgar is woken from a deep sleep by the sound of chaos. Stepping outside, he finds the entire castle is on fire.
No, his bitches!
Considering it's mostly made of stone, that's saying something.
Oh, damn.
Running up to a guard, he asks what happened, and the guard says Kefka returned and is the one doing all of this. Kefka approaches, yelling, "Bring me the girl."
Holy shit.
Edgar asks, what fucking girl. I have no idea what you're talking about. Kefka laughs, saying, then enjoy the barbecue.
Oh, that's diabolical.
Looking around at his own panicking people, scared and with nowhere to go, Edgar turns to one of his guards and says, get her ready.
Edgar, no!
Kefka dances in glee, asking if you had a change of heart finally. Edgar says that Kefka has left him no choice. Edgar puts his fingers to his mouth and whistles loudly. Peering over the ledge of a castle wall, Edgar sees that his whistle worked, as 3 chocobos run up to the edge of the wall. So real quick, since you asked earlier, a chocobo is a big-ass yellow bird that people can ride.
Oh.
Because horses do not exist in this world.
But they have big birds.
They have big-ass birds.
That's cool. Is it like an emu? Like a big...
Something more like an ostrich, but with like a chicken head more than anything.
Ooh, that's cool.
Edgar leaps off the side of the building, landing in the saddle of one.
That's fucking baller.
Kefka doubles over in laughter, watching the king abandon his people to save his own skin.
Riding the dumbest thing of all time. No one can look hard on a chocobo.
No, I think chocobos are cool as shit.
Yeah?
Yeah,
And,
I love them.
You see someone on a horse, and horses are muscular. They've got the mane. There's something really badass about it. I'm imagining a big bird with big old wings and dumb chicken head.
Oh, have you ever seen an ostrich run at you? Well, that would be the scariest fucking thing in the world.
Tom, in what fucking world would I
You're afraid of tiny birds.
When would I put myself in a situation where an ostrich would attack me? Would I approach it with aggression or anger or hate? No, I'd turn and leave. Get inside of a vehicle. Be far the fuck away from it. So no, Tom, I've never been chased by an ostrich.
Exactly. These things would be terrifying.
Okay, fine.
Edgar tears ass around to the other side of the castle and yells for Locke and Tara to jump as he passes under a bridge upon which they're standing.
Oh.
They do and land on their own chocobo, heading toward the front gates of the castle.
That's a lot of trust to be like, man, I hope there's a chocobo when I fall off this bridge.
Kefka stands on the front steps laughing at his victory over Figaro Castle when Edgar shouts, all right, sink it.
Sink it?
Locke laughs at Kefka's look of confusion as the 3 chocobo riders take off across the desert. Kefka stands scared as the castle begins to shake and rumble.
Whoa.
The Chancellor of Figaro yells out, Figaro dive mode engaged. Witness the glory of Castle Figaro. The walls start to retract in on themselves, becoming compact. Then the shake grows stronger as the castle begins to sink beneath the surface of the sand.
Wow.
Figaro Castle completes its dive, leaving Kefka and his soldiers standing in the middle of the desert, staring at an empty plot of land where an entire kingdom used to stand.
Kefka is going to have to write the most embarrassing fucking report back to the emperor. He reports to the emperor, and he's going to go, all right, no, I got there. I talked to him. I came back in the middle of the night, and I set the whole place on fire. We had a production. It's all made out of stone. You know that, right? We had to, like, douse it. It was this whole thing. He jumped out of it, landed on a bird, left, and then within moments, the entire place was gone. And the emperor's going to look at me like, you motherfucker. You were the best I had for this job?
You lost a castle?
Yeah. You lost a girl and then a castle?
Well, Kefka loses it and screams, kill them, ordering his men to don their Magitech suits and chase after the escaping chocobos.
The robots are chasing the chickens.
The soldiers catch up to you and a fight breaks out. Since they're in Magitech armor, you unleash Tara's magic on them.
Hell yeah.
Giving them a taste of their own medicine with some fire. Edgar stops the fight and goes, what the fuck? Was that magic?
Oh, he's not fully caught up.
Not at all. And Locke is like, wait, did you say magic? Locke thought Tara was just a really good fighter or some shit this whole time. Not that she could use actual magic.
Locke is a rogue and did not roll high on perception.
Not at all.
Like, the D&D parallels are very, very clear, and he was just like, perception 4. Who gives a shit? She's a girl with hair.
Edgar and Locke sidebar, whispering with one another while Tara and the soldiers just kind of look at each other, waiting. Edgar asks Tara where she learned it, and Locke shoves him aside, apologizing on both of their behalf. They shouldn't have freaked out like that. It was just a surprise is all.
And Edgar still loves you. If you're down, he's down.
Tara can use magic, and they can't. Just like how Edgar can use a crossbow and nobody else can. That's all there is to it.
You're not weird, we're just surprised.
Yeah, besides, having a magic user could prove useful against the Empire. Honestly, one of the coolest parts of this game is the fact that every character is a different class. Locke, like you said, is a rogue, allowing him to steal from enemies. Edgar, an engineer, and uses tools like the aforementioned crossbow, as well as drills, or even a bright flash of light to blind enemies.
Ooh, he's clever.
Yeah, and Tara's a mage, using magic spells as her primary attack. Edgar and Locke both agree that Tara's magic is nothing to be scared of. They just have never seen it before, thinking it was a legend more than anything.
They're really doubling down on, I promise we're not scared of you. I promise we're not calling you weird. It's just new.
It was a surprise.
Yeah.
Now that they've come to terms with it, they're ready to kill the soldiers.
They had a full conversation. And the soldiers are standing there like, are we gonna fucking fight? Or well, I'm in a mech, like getting itchy in there, having a snack.
Don't really want to go back to Kefka anyway,
yeah,
so.
He's pissed. You know Kefka's back there with a shovel, just like, I'm gonna get that fucking castle.
I'm gonna dig this fucking place out.
Hell yeah.
After their defeat, Edgar has the group run by the former location of the castle once more, congratulating the citizens of Figaro on a job well done. All while Kefka shouts back, "You son of a sandworm! I'll get you for this!"
Son of a sandworm! That's fucking great.
While running through the desert, Edgar and Locke ask Tara if she'd be willing to meet the leader of the returners, as her magic will be instrumental in winning this war.
She was literally born sexy this morning.
Right.
Like, she had her whole mind wiped. She's been concussed. She's relearning everything.
Yeah, not even yesterday.
And now she's meeting the leader of the resistance. All right, man.
Edgar says he heard the Esper and Narsh reacted to her when she got close to it. Tara explains that she doesn't understand why. She's always had these abilities. Locke says not to be ridiculous. Nobody's born with magic. That's not a thing that happens. Something or someone must have given her those powers. Tara stops her chocobo, saying she's so confused, not sure who to trust. The Empire wants to use her powers to rule the world. The returners want to use her powers to stop them from ruling the world.
Either way, a side wants to use her as a weapon.
That's all she sees. Edgar says that before she decides, she should at least meet their leader Bannon. He may have some answers at the very least as to why Tara has the ability to use magic. Edgar says that the returner base is near South Figaro, a fishing town that can be reached through a cave tunnel nearby.
The biome of this world is insane, by the way.
It's a full planet, like I said.
It was a mountain by the sea, then we're in the desert, now we're in a little fishing town with probably great tuna and stuff that you find through caves. This is wild.
The moment you step foot in South Figaro, you can see a man dressed head to toe in black like a ninja.
But a bad ninja because you can see him.
Right.
A good ninja, wouldn't see him coming.
Never see him. He heads into a tavern, and curious about the ninja, you follow.
This guy's dressed cool as shit. Let's go drink where he's drinking.
You approach him as he sits at the bar with his very obedient pet dog.
Oh.
Edgar stops the group from bothering him, though, saying he thinks he knows who he is. You are then introduced to Shadow and his dog Interceptor.
That's cool.
Edgar explains that Shadow's an assassin. He'd slit his mama's throat for a nickel. Which was the original SNES translation.
Whoa.
It was later changed to he'd kill his own best friend for the right price.
They had to soften that line.
But if you look into his lore, that is canonically not true. So I don't know why they would change that line to that.
Maybe it's kind of the John Wick lore, like people talk and then the stories get bigger and wilder, you know?
Maybe so. I still like the slit his mama's throat for a nickel line.
That's hard.
If you try to speak with him, he refuses to acknowledge you. If you try to talk to his dog, he says that Interceptor eats strangers and to leave them alone.
You can't pet the dog?
You cannot pet this dog.
This game is bullshit.
In talking with one of the patrons in the bar, he says Edgar looks exactly like Master Duncan's apprentice, just with much longer hair. Edgar asks for more information and finds out that this apprentice lives just outside of town in a secluded house. You find the house, but it's empty. Edgar looks around and sees a bunch of things that indicate this is where his brother Sabin lives, such as his preferred flavor of tea, his favorite flowers, even the way he stacks his plates in the cupboard, which, how is there a different way to stack plates?
That's so dumb. I love it.
Exiting the house, You find an old man nearby and ask if he knows who the person is that lives there. He says that it's Master Duncan's apprentice, but he went up to the top of nearby Mount Colts to honor his recently deceased mentor. Master Duncan's son, Vargas, ran off the same day as Sabin. Master Duncan meant so much to both of them. Determined to reunite with his long-lost twin, Edgar convinces the group to make a quick detour to Mount Colts to find Sabin. The mountain itself is a pretty treacherous climb, with tons of creatures attacking you, all while you chase after a mysterious person that is also climbing Mount Colts. Figuring it's Sabin, you follow behind. You catch up near the summit, only to see that it's not Sabin. It's Vargas, Master Duncan's son. He asks if Sabin sent you after him, and attacks.
Well, you have been chasing him up a mountain. He has reason to be like, you know what? Fuck you.
A little bit. Vargas is a highly trained martial artist, as Master Duncan was a monk, trained in the art of martial combat. The battle starts to go poorly for Vargas, and he says he's going to unleash all of his father's teachings on you. Then a voice rings out, "Hold it right there, Vargas." Sabin joins the fight and yells, "How could you, Vargas? How could you murder your own father?"
This is so fucking soap opera. We've got a secret twin that we're reuniting with.
Right.
We've got a dead mentor. It turns out the dead mentor was killed by his son. This is some as the world turns shit.
We have a girl with amnesia.
Yeah, this is the most daytime soap opera shit ever. But it sounds awesome when you're saying it this way.
Vargas looks at Sabin and says that Master Duncan chose Sabin as his successor, not his only fucking son.
Well, that's because you probably suck, dude.
Sabin puts his fingers to the bridge of his nose in frustration, saying, "No, dumbass. Master Duncan came to Sabin, asking if he agreed Vargas should be his successor, as he has the most potential."
Oh my god, Vargas.
Vargas calls Sabin a liar, saying he has far more than just potential, and that he'll show him.
And all the while, Edgar's sitting there staring at him, being like, "Oh my god, it's my brother."
Right.
I would really like to hug him, but he's having a very heated moment with a coworker right now.
Go, brother, go. Vargas unleashes an attack that causes everyone but Sabin to get thrown out of the battle,
Oof.
leaving just the two of them. Sabin says, "Looks like it's just you and me." Vargas tells Sabin to prepare to join his beloved master in the afterlife,
Wow.
as the two bruisers unleash on one another,
Oof.
both having learned Master Duncan's blitz techniques. Blitz commands are Sabin's special attack for his monk class. They require a series of button presses, not dissimilar to attacks in games like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
The wrong input results in a failed attack, and Sabin misses his turn. Sabin pummels Vargas into submission, saying that he and Master Duncan were wrong about Vargas. He didn't have what it took to be the successor. Sabin stands sadly over Vargas, the last of Master Duncan's bloodline, defeated. Edgar joins by his side and waits for him to grieve.
Poor Edgar is so excited to see his brother, and his brother is going through so much right now in the last hour.
Yeah, he's like just rocking back and forth, like, look over here, look over here.
Hey, man.
Hello, hey.
Remember how we grew up together? I love you.
Sabin looks over and is like, what the shit? Edgar, is that you?
Why are you here?
Edgar explains the trek to the returner's hideout, and Sabin is ecstatic, saying he's been watching from afar, worried that his brother was really allying himself with the Empire, asking if you have room for one more in your group.
Oh, they are reuniting.
Yeah, he wants to put Master Duncan's training to good use. Edgar enthusiastically welcomes his brother, while Locke and Tara greet their new companion.
Locke and Tara were standing behind like, do we pop in or do we let them have a moment?
Yeah, just wait.
I imagine this is happening and they're in the back having a cigarette. Like, what do we do? And Tara's just like, so what happened in media the last 2 years? I don't remember shit. Any good books come out?
I want to see her light it with her magic fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Snap her fingers and the cigarette's lit. That's cool.
From there, you set out for the returner hideout to meet their leader, Bannon. The base is hidden in a cave, and when you arrive, you're escorted straight to him. Bannon is an older man in his early 50s with long, dirty blonde hair. Meeting Tara, he is intrigued by the girl to whom the frozen Esper responded, saying he's been keeping in touch via carrier pigeon with members all over the world.
This world loves birds.
Oh yeah, the carrier pigeons are a big part of it. He also heard she killed 50 Magitech-clad soldiers in mere minutes.
That wasn't her choice, though.
Tara has a panic attack and shouts, "I did what?"
Oh, so we know that story, but new fresh brain Tara is like, hold up, I killed so many people?
Please tell me that isn't true, that I didn't kill 50 men in mere minutes.
Oh, poor girl.
Edgar yells at Bannon, saying that the poor girl doesn't remember anything and not to drop shit like that on her. And Bannon's all, "Oh no, the truth. Get over it."
Oh, he's kind of a dick.
Bannon approaches Tara, asking if she's ever heard of Pandora's box, explaining that it was never to be opened. But people are stupid, and they did it anyway.
He's blunt.
All the evils of the world came pouring out of it. Chaos ensued, and they thought that all was lost. But there was one last thing left inside the box. A final ray of hope, saying that's what her ability to use magic is. Their final ray of hope against the Empire's forces of evil. Edgar goes, "Bannon, seriously? That's so much fucking pressure to put on Tara?"
Take it down a notch, buddy.
Bannon shrugs, saying he's tired anyway and is going to bed, telling Tara to think about what he said overnight.
He is such a cranky jerk. Like,
It really is, right?
and I appreciate that Edgar, we met him. He seemed a little misogynistic. He seemed a little milady. And now he's like, no. You need to sit the fuck down. This girl's been through a lot. Also me. Look at my brother. We're back together. Hi. But fucking give her a break. Poor Tara.
Tara asks her companions what they think. Edgar says he doesn't want her to see him as being equal to the Empire, and refuses to give his opinion, wanting her to decide entirely on his own. Sabin says that Edgar has always looked out for his best interests ever since they were kids, so he's going to follow Edgar's lead on this one.
And then Locke's like, God damn it, I have to have an opinion.
Yeah, as for Locke, he explains that the Empire took someone he loved from him.
Oh.
On that day, he joined the Returners and will do whatever it takes to bring them down, hoping you'll join him in the fight. The next morning, Bannon asks Tara if she'll be the Resistance's last ray of hope, and she nervously agrees. Bannon tells her that the uncertainty she's feeling only means she's human. Then asks her to gather everyone in the conference room, now that she's agreed to join the fight. Once everyone is together, Bannon goes into presentation mode, saying that the Empire's Magitech armor seems to have some kind of connection to magic and espers.
And Esper, that's that big bird that was in the ice, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
But he's unsure what that connection is. But it means that this all leads back to the War of the Magi from 1,000 years ago. Locke says that his grandmother used to put him to bed with stories of ancient machines run on pure magic, thinking they had always been fairy tales. Bannon continues, saying that scholars have studied ancient writings and deciphered that humans were draining magic-imbued creatures called espers 1,000 years ago of their powers in order to operate machinery.
They were squeezing the magic out of birds to get fucking robots to work?
They're not all birds.
Okay.
Then humans discovered they could do the same with a human body, allowing them to drain an esper of its power and keep it for themselves. This led to the War of the Magi, in which the espers rebelled against the humans and were in turn banished from this world, along with their magic. Or so they thought. Until that esper was found in Narsh. Bannon thinks that other espers have been found, and that the Empire is draining them of their magic to create their Magitech armor. He also thinks that's how Tara got her magical powers. They must have drained an esper and imbued her with its magic. Edgar says that the only way to fight Magitech armor is with Magitech weapons of their own. Bannon retorts, that's exactly what triggered the War of the Magi.
You know how history is repeating itself? You're doing that now.
It happened when both sides of the conflict started using espers to their advantage. Instead, Bannon wants to travel to Narsh and see if there's a way to communicate with the frozen one they found there. It reacted to Tara's presence before. Maybe they can wake it and gain some knowledge about the War of the Magi and learn something that the Empire doesn't know. At that, someone comes stumbling into the room. He's badly injured, holding in his guts.
Ah.
Bannon runs over asking what happened. He says that the Empire did it, They've attacked and taken over South Figaro.
Oh, fuck.
They killed so many.
Oh.
Edgar turns to Locke and asks him to head to South Figaro to cause as many distractions as possible to slow down the Empire.
Oh.
He agrees, telling Tara he'll be right back. Also, watch out for a certain young king who will remain nameless. He likes to swoop in like a hawk when he senses a vulnerable woman.
Locke having to be like, I promise you, I know this is really difficult. You're having a terrible day. I'll be right back. My homie will try to swoop in on you.
Edgar's like, come on, I've been nothing but professional this entire time.
No, you haven't, but the fact that Locke has to say something really speaks to how well he knows him.
With that, Locke takes off for South Figaro, while the rest of you board a raft that will take you away from here quickly in the direction of Narsh. The river is a bit of a maze, requiring you to memorize a couple forks in the path to get to the end of it. Some paths leading you into a loop. There's a little bit of a cheat here on the SNES version, where if you set everything up right, you could leave a book laying on a certain button of the controller, and a loop will begin where you can't die, and you can level up a shitload if you leave the loop running for a couple of hours as it auto-battles for you.
I love that.
At the end of the river maze, a purple octopus creature attacks your raft. His name is Ultros, and he's a bit of a ham.
I love him.
He says he's here to stop you, for no good reason other than he's here to stop you.
He's a silly little guy.
Using Tara's magic, you burn him, and he yelps, "Youch!" Seafood soup is not on the menu.
Why is he so corny for no reason? I love him.
Ultros dips below the surface of the water, and Tara shouts out that something is grabbing her ankle. Edgar dives at it and beats back the purple tentacle, pulling her towards the water.
Okay, Edgar.
He drags her to the center of the raft, while Sabin looks around for Ultros, saying he's gonna smash it with a blitz. Then he dives into the raging rapids. Tara asks where he went, and Bannon says he's sure he'll be fine. Edgar asks how he knows that, and he says he doesn't. He just figures that he's well-trained and will flock back onto the raft here any second now. You all watch the water when Sabin comes flying out of it and launches high into the sky. Your necks crane and watch as he soars far away, with Edgar saying that he missed the part where he flops back onto the raft.
He's like, buddy, you fucked this whole thing up.
Sabin lands in a different path of the river, and Edgar shouts to him to meet up in Narsh when he can, trusting he'll be okay.
Because he's on the wrong side of the river. I love the mummy.
The screen fades to black, and remains so, as three groups appear. Locke by himself, Sabin by himself, and the rest, Tara, Edgar, and Bannon, in the final group. A Moogle suddenly appears in the void with them, saying that they're each on their own path right now. You can complete any scenario in whatever order you choose.
Oh.
Now, please choose one. Kupo.
I love that a Moogle is hosting you through this in the ether.
Kind of guiding you through it, right?
Yeah.
It really doesn't have any impact which order you take, so let's start with Sabin, as his is the longest to complete. Who we join just after his fight with Ultros, floating alone in the river. Sabin is washed ashore just before the river meets the sea, where you take control of him. Nearby, you find a shack, and go to find out where you washed up so you can make your way back to Narsh. Just outside the shack, you see Shadow the Ninja, with his dog Interceptor. But Sabin wasn't in the party earlier when you met him. You ask if he knows how to get to Narsh, as you were recently separated from your friends. He tells you it'll be very difficult. The Empire has set up a military camp to the east of here, which is the direction you'll need to go to get to Narsh. You ask why they're setting up a camp, and Shadow explains that they've set their sights on conquering nearby Doma Castle. You tell Shadow that you have no choice but to go through. You have to get to Narsh. Shadow says he's headed that way anyway and agrees to join you, warning that he reserves the right to bail at any moment of his choosing. The two of you head toward the Empire's camp. You sneak into it, as it takes up the entire path forward, and overhear a couple guards talking about Kefka. They heard a rumor he was trying to get General Leo fired so he can take his place,
Kefka would.
saying that General Leo has the qualities of a truly great man, and Kefka got whatever was left over.
What a good read.
They're interrupted by another soldier telling them it's time to storm the castle and to join their squad.
Have fun storming the castle.
The soldiers launch their assault on Doma Castle, attempting to scale the walls, and the camera shifts to its interior. It's not a techno-marvel like Figaro, so it doesn't have a cool escape feature. The Doma guards are scared that the castle walls won't hold out for much longer, fearing that this might be the end of Doma. Then a voice rings out, "Not if I can help it." A man in his late 50s walks out from behind a door, clad in armor, but with his head and arms exposed. His receding hairline is slicked back and held in a long ponytail down his back. Introducing us to Cyan, the swordsman, a noble warrior who fears not even death.
Hell yeah.
He says he's going to go out and challenge their commander. When he defeats him, the army will surely disperse. The guard's like, "Cool, good luck," and hightail it out of there. Cyan walks out the front gates of the castle, points at the attacking army's captain, and challenges him to a fight.
This guy's fucking raw.
Now in control of Cyan, you battle using your superior sword techniques. After slaughtering the captain in front of his men, the attackers give up and retreat, just as Cyan predicted they would.
Cyan's cool as fuck.
Oh, he's so fucking cool. Then he and the guards laugh as they watch the retreating Gestalian soldiers, ordering the men to go back into the castle grounds to rest until the Empire decides what they're going to do next. Back as Sabin and Shadow, you make your way through the now mostly deserted camp. Eventually, you find a soldier reporting to General Leo, who is one of the coolest looking characters in the game, honestly. General Leo has blue eyes, Mediterranean skin, is wearing a slick looking green and yellow uniform, and rocks a blonde mohawk to top it all off.
That's rad.
The soldier explains how the first wave went, and General Leo says that Doma is resorting to their usual tactics. He tells the soldiers not to make any further attacks. It would just result in unnecessary casualties. The soldier tells General Leo that he signed up knowing he may have to die for the cause. General Leo scolds him, saying that he has no desire to go tell this man's family that he died while under his command, reminding him that he's a human first and a soldier second. He shouldn't be so quick to throw away his life.
Get it.
Another grunt comes running over saying that a messenger pigeon just got here with a note for General Leo, telling him that he's needed back at the capital right away. He tells his men not to advance until his return, or if Doma makes a move first, which he's sure they won't. It's not like them to do that. Sabin and Shadow are like, damn, for being a bad guy, General Leo seems like a pretty decent person.
The immediate respect.
Before General Leo departs, he speaks to Kefka, telling him he's in charge and not to be too hasty.
That's not going to go well.
Only attack if provoked. Kefka tells General Leo that if shit hits the fan, it'll be over much quicker with him gone.
Oof.
Leo reminds Kefka that enemies are still humans and need to be treated with respect if they're not being violent.
Leo is a samurai, and Kefka's the kind of guy that would stab you in a parking lot.
Oh, right. Kefka tells Leo that anyone who sides with the returners deserves no mercy.
Oof.
Which is great because Kefka ran out of mercy a long time ago.
Yeah, we know you're a lunatic, dude.
With a sigh, General Leo leaves, hoping his trip to Gestal will at least be short.
Poor General Leo is like, I am begging this man to have just an ounce of sympathy for another human, and he's like, nope, fuck you.
Not gonna fucking happen.
And General Leo's like, well, I have a work trip, so please don't be too bloodlusty, okay? You little freak.
The moment Leo is out of sight, Kefka orders the soldiers to poison the water supply to Doma.
Oh my god.
They protest, saying that some of their own men are being held captive inside. If they drink the poisoned water, they'll die too. Kefka tells them to take it as a lesson to never get caught.
Yeah, I don't feel like Sephiroth would do this shit. This is wild.
Hearing this, you and Shadow can't take it anymore and jump out, telling Kefka he's going too fucking far. Kefka takes off running and you shout, "Kefka, wait!" Kefka yells back, "Wait? Do I look like a waiter to you?"
Oh my god. You know he thinks he ate that line up too. He's like, these motherfuckers don't know what I got in the cannon. And it's just the dumbest line on earth. And like, what a bitch to just be like, poison the water supply. Off I flee.
Right, seriously. Oh, he is just fucking evil. He kites you through the camp. Not so much trying to stop you, more trying to stall you. Your persistence finally gets to him, and he orders a group of soldiers to attack. While you battle, Kefka begins dumping poison into Doma's water supply.
This motherfucker.
Saying that nothing beats the sound of people screaming in agonizing pain. Inside the castle, Cyan notices the water appears to be a funny color. Then, all around him, His men begin to drop dead where they stand.
Ugh.
Realizing it's happening all over the castle, Cyan shouts, "The king!" and runs to the throne room. But it's too late.
Ugh.
The king has fallen from his seat, and in his dying breath, thanks Cyan for serving his kingdom so well,
Ugh.
beginning his service during his father's reign. Then he tells Cyan to go, run to his own wife and son to prevent them from suffering the same fate. And to remember, Doma Castle fell because the king failed, not because Cyan did.
Oh my god.
Cyan searches the castle for his wife and child, as well as any other survivors, telling everyone to stay away from the water. Finally, he makes it home. Running inside, Cyan shouts, "Elaine! Owain!" But nobody answers, as they're both dead.
Oh, fuck.
Owain being no more than 5 years old.
Aw.
Having lost the king and family he swore to protect, he screams out that the Empire will pay for this.
Oh.
Sprinting out the front door of the castle, Cyan enters the military camp and declares, "I am Cyan, retainer of Doma. Prepare to die."
Yes, Inigo Montoya.
Pulling his sword, he begins battling entire troops of soldiers single-handedly. Sabin and Shadow see this and decide to offer their assistance. Cyan says, "I know not thy name or allegiance, but I welcome thine aid."
He's cool as fuck. I love him.
After killing a bunch of men, Sabin says he comes from the kingdom of Figaro, and that the three of you should get the fuck out of here. Doma has fallen. It's survival time. Cyan asks what they should do, and Sabin says he has an idea. He leads the group over to a grip of Magitech armor suits, and tells the others to hop in. Cyan says, Sir Sabin, what are all these buttons and levers? How do I make this abomination move?"
Oh, he's so old school. He's like, this is some steampunk weird shit. I am used to swords.
Sabin asks, "Art thou always going to be a pain in my..." Great, now I'm talking like you.
It's contagious sometimes.
Sabin points to a lever and says, "Push that forward to walk." Cyan jams it hard, and his suit takes off running and tramples a bunch of soldiers in the process.
He actually takes some people down with
He
his...
does.
That's fucking great.
He finally gets control of it, and the three of you storm your way out of the camp in your newly acquired mech suits. Once shy of the camp, you ditch the suits as they're too clunky, and hoof it from there. With the path you're on taking you through a place called the Phantom Forest.
Ooh.
It's a pretty haunted location, with ghosts and the undead lurking around every corner.
By undead, do you mean zombies?
Oh, there's definitely zombies.
I love it. Ghosts and zombies now. Let's just inject horror into this. Yeah.
But it's most famous for being home to the Phantom Train, which resides in the center of the forest.
Ghost Train Haze?
No, definitely not.
Oh.
Sabin sees it and immediately wants to explore, having no idea what a Phantom Train is or does.
But he knows he wants to climb inside of it.
Cyan chases after him saying to stop. "We need to get off this train immediately." As he says this, the door slams shut and the horn blows,
And now you're trapped on a ghost train.
explaining that the Phantom Train takes those who have lost their lives to the other side.
Oh, they're going to hell?
Yeah, that's likely where this train is headed.
You dumb dipshit.
Sabin's like, "Well, I'm not going to the other side. Let's head to the front of the train and shut this bitch down." Throughout the train are ghosts.
Yeah, that's... The ghosts have reason to be here.
Some of them fight you. Some of them join your party and fight with you.
Oh. Yeah, they're ghosts. They were alive, now they're dead. It's a confusing time. Some will side with each other, some will side with the humans, because they don't know what's going on. I get it.
In the dining car, a ghost acts as your server, and you can even order a meal if you want.
Couldn't be Kafka, because, he's not a waiter. I hate him.
But the only thing the ghosts will actually say to you is no escape. You eventually make it to the engine, but there's no engineer. The train seems to be driving itself. That's because it is, as the Phantom Train is sentient.
Are you gonna fight the train? Are you gonna fight the train?
Once it realizes you're trying to stop it, the train throws you out in front of itself and begins chasing you down the tracks.
You gotta fight the train. You gotta fight the train.
So you have to sprint and fight at the same time.
You fight the silliest shit in the Final Fantasy games.
You really do.
Oh my god. Like, I watched part of the remake of Seven Over Your Shoulder, and
Oh, God.
the Baba Yaga sent me down a rabbit hole. Like, It was so good, and now you're fighting the ghost train. This is a level in Cuphead. This is fucking great.
Honestly, sprinting is no different from standing still anyway. Plus, one of Saban's blitz techniques is called suplex, allowing you to pick up an enemy and drop them on their head. It does not work on every enemy, but for some fucking reason, it works on the Phantom train.
I'm sorry, so Saban can pick up the train and then try and concuss the train by dropping it on its train head?
Like a pro fucking wrestler.
Saban's fucking sick as shit. And he learned that shit from Master Dunkin' Donuts over here, who's probably on the train because he recently passed away.
Wondering why did my world just turn upside down?
Yeah, like, this feels familiar, but I'm upset about it.
The train pulls up to a station after its defeat. As it wasn't on a drop-off trip anyway.
The train pulling over because it got its ass kicked is really funny.
It was actually heading to a pickup. Because a whole lot of people from Doma Castle just died.
Oh, that's right.
And that's what summoned the Phantom train in the first place. Which means poor Cyan has to stand there and watch as his wife and son board it.
Oh, God.
Cyan runs to them, but the train begins to head out. They notice Cyan and turn to him just as the train picks up speed, whisking them away.
Oh, fuck.
Elaine's voice fills Cyan's heart, thanking him for making her life so happy.
Oh.
And Owain saying he'll keep practicing his sword work so he can keep Mama safe.
Oh.
With the train dearly departed, the three of you continue onward and exit the Phantom Forest. The only problem being, onward leads to a dead end, more or less.
So did the train.
The three of you soon find yourselves on a cliff's edge, looking out at a waterfall. Cyan explains that the way forward leads to an area known as the Veldt. All sorts of monsters roam those savage lands. However, just beyond it is a city called Moblise. If you were to jump down this Niagara-level waterfall and trek across the Veldt, you could probably catch a boat to South Figaro and make your way to Narsh from there. Hearing this plan, Shadow says he has served his purpose and will be departing from this death trap of an idea.
Shadow just popping in for a little bit, waving, maybe helping and leaving is such a fucking vibe. I really enjoy him and his dog, too.
Saban tells him that it's been great fighting alongside him and that they should totally team up again if they have the opportunity. Shadow just stares at him silently for 5 seconds, then fucks off.
What? He dissociated and then was like, I'm out.
Without further ado, Saban and Cyan leap off the cliff into the falls. They even have to battle some fish monsters on the way down.
While they're falling?
Yep.
That's cool.
The pair get knocked out by the impact of landing and are soon washed near the shore. They are quickly found by a teenage boy with wild, pale green hair, wearing animal hides as clothing. The boy pulls their bodies out of the water, and we are introduced to the feral child with warm and gentle eyes, named Gao. Waking up, Saban asks the youth who he is, and Gao runs off into the wilderness of the Veldt.
Hey, who are you? Sprints.
Yep. The Veldt itself is a large island where a majority of the world's enemies and monsters reside. It's a place for them to roam free, as there's only one town on the entire island, and they only hunt when they absolutely need to. It's also the only section of the world map with its own theme music,
Ooh.
as every other part features the same song otherwise.
Well, they had to make these games really quickly. They came out one a year.
So fast.
They can't come up with themes for every single place individually.
After a few random encounters, you get confronted by Gao at the end of the fight. He doesn't speak, but clearly is begging for food, which you don't have. So he runs away when you have nothing to offer. You make it to Moblise and speak to some townsfolk, who say that an eccentric lunatic of a man who built his house out in the wilderness threw his infant son out of the house years ago.
Oh.
Rumor has it, the kid wanders the Veldt to this day. One man says that he was hunting one day and used some beef jerky to lure some animals closer. But the wild child ran by and grabbed it and took off.
Hell yeah, Gao.
You decide to buy some beef jerky in an attempt to befriend the kid, wanting to thank him for saving your life at the very least. You also find out there are no boats going to South Figaro since the Empire took it over.
Oh, god damn it.
There is, however, an underwater current that runs from here to a town called Nicaea, which is about a half-day's journey from there to Narsh.
Okay.
if only you had a way to travel via underwater current.
If only.
With no other real option, you head to the Veldt to befriend the Beast Boy. In the original version I played, this game was couch co-op friendly. 2 people could technically play the game together.
Ooh.
Player 1 would control 90% of the game, but in battle, Player 2 could control 1 or more of the 4 available party members. Now, given that information, here's some Tom lore.
The plot, lore, and more behind Tom. Let's go.
Playing this game in 1994, I was younger than Gao even.
I, too, was younger than Gao in 1994.
Often, my friends and I would play this game with upwards of 4 people in the room. So to give everyone something to do, we would assign characters for each person to read.
Wait. You would do live reenactments?
Oh, yeah.
You would do fucking video game theater?
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's cute. Oh, I love that.
And nobody got the same character twice. We were kids, so nobody did voices or anything like that. Except in the case of one single person.
Okay.
Gao.
Oh.
Likely as a result of whoever was the first person in our friend group to voice him. But it was a vocal tone that every one of us could replicate, so we all did the same one when performing him. As a result, my entire life, I still hear that voice when Gao is on screen. So for you all, I will continue that tradition in honor of the 2 people I most closely associate with those days.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So to Dieter and Jimmy, wherever you guys are, this one's for you. Gao makes his entrance at the end of the battle with a loud, "Whoa!" If you for some reason attack him, he says, "You strangers, go away from Veldt," and runs off. But if, instead, you give him the beef jerky, he starts to bounce around the battle screen excited by this rare delicacy. Cyan looks at his happy dance and says, "What a peculiar boy." Sabin introduces Cyan and himself. Gao goes, "You Sabin, you Cyan, me want more food." Sabin says that he ate it all. Gao steps forward at the beefy beef boy Sabin, saying, "Get more food now, me no want to hurt you."
He's basically a cat.
Sabin flexes, saying he'd like to see him try. The 2 begin to scrap with each other. More of a grappling match than an actual fight, rolling around on the battlefield while Cyan watches in disgusted confusion.
Yeah, Sabin's being a dumbass here. He's looking at a feral child. He gave him food. The child's like, "I would like more food, because I'm a feral child." And Sabin's like, "You want to fucking fight?"
They slow down, and Sabin is winded, saying the kid is a lot stronger than he looks.
He's got those lean muscles.
Gao bounces up laughing, saying, "That fun, you strong!" Then he tackles Sabin again, laughing hysterically at the fun he's having, while Sabin fights for his life.
I'm glad this backfired on Sabin.
Tumbling out of it, giggling, Gao shouts, "Pranked!" Cyan tells them to simmer down. Addressing Gao, he says, "And thou, O wild one, who might thou be?" Gao's eyes go wide, and he jumps around the screen saying, "Thou, thou, 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 thou."
I love Gao.
Cyan turns his back on Gao, frustrated. Seeing this, Gao runs to him asking, "You angry me, Cyan? You angry me?"
Oh.
Sabin pulls Gao aside and explains Cyan's very recent tragic backstory. Gao runs over and drops to his knees, clutching at Cyan, saying, "Me understand, me sorry, me no mean person."
Oh.
Cyan forgives Gao, saying he has a feeling the 2 of them are going to get along quite well, actually. Gao leaps up happy that he's not in trouble, then says, "Gao give present." Sabin's like, "Yay, trash from the rat child."
I love that he's immediately like, "You're adopting me." Cyan, you're my dad, and Sabin, you're my older brother.
It's the cat distribution system.
Yeah, okay, so he is a cat.
He is a cat,
This is great.
Gao says, "Treasure, shiny, shiny. Shiny, shiny, shiny." Sabin asks, "Can anything be that shiny?" Gao asks Sabin, "Does Mr. Thou like shiny?"
Mr. Thou! He's got nicknames. He's barely spoken to these people. I love him.
Exasperated, Sabin goes, "He's Mr. Thou." Never mind. Let's go get the shiny thing, whatever it is.
Sabin has a brother. Like, he knows how this kind of shit works. He's like, my new little brother's already being a dick, and I love it, and I hate it.
That's why he gets fed up so quickly.
Yeah.
At least this shiny thing should make Locke jealous, whatever it is. Gao leads the group to a nearby mountain cave, saying that his shiny treasure is here. With Gao now in your party, you find out how his mechanics work. While fighting on the veldt, Gao can leap onto the back of an enemy. This instantly ends the fight, but Gao is no longer in your party.
Oh, he just rides an enemy off into the ether?
After a battle or two, he'll rejoin the group, having learned all of the special moves of the enemy he was riding.
Whoa!
As well as all of the enemies you fought before his return.
That's fucking OP as shit.
Since almost every enemy you encounter in the game makes its way to the veldt, Gao's potential is off the charts if leveled correctly.
That's fucking rad.
This trick does only work on the veldt. However, the attacks he learns can be used anywhere.
That's really fucking cool, though.
Inside the cave, Gao uncovers his shiny treasure. Take a bio shot, because it's the head of a Big Daddy.
Stop!
Not really, but the head of the Big Daddy was based off the design of the shiny treasure before you.
Wow!
A deep sea diver's dome-shaped brass helmet.
That's great.
Science says that this contraption looks like it can be used to breathe underwater. Fortunately, video game logic takes over from here, as all three of them can use the single helmet.
As you do. I get it.
Gao leads them to a river that leads out to the ocean, where that current to Nikea can take care of the rest. Figuring there's no faster way than this, the three of you dive in and let the current take over. You wash ashore in Nikea, only to find out the passage to Narsh has caved in.
Oh, god damn it.
Fortunately, boats into South Figaro are leaving from here, so you book passage on the next one. While waiting, you hang in the local bar. A sex worker approaches Cyan, offering her services. He's offended, being a man of honor. She says, "What, don't you like him? I call this one Humpty and this one Dumpty."
I didn't think this game would be so funny.
Oh my gosh, the translator said one of the hardest things about this game was that Japan has less stringent rules about sexuality and things in their video games than the United States had.
Yeah.
He was like, I had to change a lot.
I had to tone a lot of shit down.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But it is silly, right? It's a lot funnier than you'd expect, too.
It's super fucking silly.
Cyan goes on a rant about how women should show modesty and have respect for their bodies.
Whoa!
His dialogue box literally says, rant, rant, rant.
Good. That's all it sounds like to me when men start saying that.
Sabin reminds Cyan that he's a monk, and even he thinks Cyan's being too much of a prude about this.
Hell yeah, Sabin.
When your ship is ready to depart, you board, headed for South Figaro and the nearby Narsh. The scene fades to black void once again, where two sets of people are seen, along with a Moogle, tasking you with choosing one of the other two scenarios. This time we'll go with Locke, who was sent to South Figaro to slow up the Empire from chasing after his friends. We catch up to him mid-adventure. He's been sabotaging the Imperial troops pretty well so far, but they figured out what was going on eventually, and now Locke is on the run, as the Empire is looking for him. Which means it's time for him to make his exit and travel back to Narsh. You take control of Locke, having just successfully hidden from a soldier chasing after him. The whole town is on lockdown as they hunt for you. Fortunately, you've lived in the area most of your life, so you know people here that let you slip in and out of their homes to get around. Plus, there are hardly any townspeople happy about the current Occupy South Figaro movement. One of your friends tells you that the richest person in town has a secret escape tunnel under their house that leads out of South Figaro.
And just as a life note, the rich people in your town 100% also have that.
They 100% do. But that asshole is, of course, down with the Empire, and is even helping them.
Ugh.
His servants also use a tunnel under the town that goes from their houses to his, so he doesn't have to deal with them coming and going. Only one of them is willing to let you use their access tunnel if you bring him some hard cider first.
You give me a little lid, I'll let you in.
The bar is in a section of town you can't access unless you have business there. You find a shady as fuck traveling merchant and jump him. Being a thief, you steal his clothing, leaving him in his birthday suit. Now dressed as a merchant, you can move around town easier. But the bar is currently closed to all but soldiers. Not even merchants are allowed in today.
Time to jump a soldier.
So you pick a fight with an officer and steal his clothing in the process.
Attaboy.
Now dressed for active duty, you enter the bustling bar. Everyone's drunk and talking about the latest gossip. such as the famous Lady General of the Gustalian army being a turncoat. Fortunately, they locked that bitch up somewhere here in town. The cider is in the basement of the tavern, and being a soldier, you just march down there without letting anyone stop you. Another merchant is there delivering the cider. So you attack, stealing his cider and clothing, as the person you're delivering to is expecting a merchant.
Oh, you ditched the last merchant outfit.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now you have to steal another one. He grants you access to his underground tunnel to the rich man's home after pounding the entire bottle in one go.
Get it.
Inside, you find the rich asshole, actually distraught at having betrayed his entire community for a couple extra dollars that he didn't even need. A set of curtains in the home hide a secret set of stairs. Down them, you find a passageway as well as some empty prison cells. But there are also bookshelves and storage rooms down here as well. Glancing inside one of the storage rooms, you see a person getting beaten to a pulp by Imperial soldiers.
Oh, shit.
You recognize the woman. She's the Lady General the drunks were yapping about. We see inside to the beating. A blonde woman is in there, dressed in white and green, getting the shit kicked out of her. We are officially introduced to Celeste, a Magitech knight forged by the Empire and tempered in battle. As the guards beat her, she tells them that Kefka is a madman, and she knows he plans on poisoning the citizens of Doma Castle. He must be stopped.
Oh, honey.
They tell her to knock it off with the propaganda. He would never do that. She's overreacting to a joke he made, that's all.
Ugh.
Kefka is just a troll. You can't take what he says seriously. With a final blow, one of them knocks Celeste to the ground and tells the other one to stay here and watch her. Make sure she doesn't try to escape. And the guy's like, I can stay awake for days, sir. Locke hides in the rafters of the basement while the soldier exits. As soon as the coast is clear, he drops down and enters the room. The guard is fast asleep, so Locke approaches Celeste.
Immediately fast asleep after being like, I can stay up for 37 hours straight.
She sits up, asking who he is. He introduces himself as Locke, a member of the Returners. She's like, holy shit, the bad guys. Or maybe now you're her allies, since the enemy of my enemy is my friend, as the Empire just turned on her. She says that she used to be General Celeste, one of the Emperor's 3 most trusted people, the others being Leo and Kefka. But now she's a traitor in the eyes of the Empire, so she's on her own now. Locke goes, welcome to the Resistance. Now let's get the fuck out of here.
She's saying this out loud, like monologuing, like, who is my allegiance
Yeah.
to? I was once his right hand, and now I'm gone. And Locke's like, yeah, shut the fuck up, we're leaving.
Celeste says she's too weak to go anyway. Besides, after all she's done for the Empire, she deserves to die, even if it is a traitor's death.
Wow.
Locke's like, yeah, I've heard that one before. Don't worry, I have experience in this. I can protect you. Now let's go.
Rogues don't give a shit about the politics. They're just like, we're getting in, we're getting out. Okay, let's go.
The tunnels out of town are a big-ass maze, and the two of you work your way through it, fighting occasional soldiers that have the misfortune of getting in your way. Celeste, being a former general, is very good in a fight.
Yeah.
She can even absorb magic bad guys cast on you, nullifying the damage. As magic is usable by monsters and bad guys, but nobody will ever bring that fact up, so just ignore it.
No, we just pretend Tara's the only one with magic, right?
Well, speaking of magic, you notice that Celeste, just like Tara, can also use magic.
Oh.
But Locke doesn't bring it up, simply telling Celeste she reminds him of someone as the two fight their way out of the house. Once free, the pair set out on foot toward Narsh. The scene fades to black once more, as the Moogle instructs you to select the final group to see what happened to them after the river battle with Ultros.
Koopa.
Back with Edgar, Tara, and Bannon, you travel down the river some more and eventually arrive on the shore, just a stone's throw from Narsh. You enter the town and are immediately stopped by some guards who recognize Tara as the soldier who recently came through and fucked everyone up. Bannon tells them to calm down. She's a returner now. He gets sucker punched and knocked to the ground as one says, "We don't care."
Whoa!
Edgar steps up saying, "I am King Edgar of Fig," but he too is hit as someone yells, "Liar!"
Whoa!
The three regroup together with Edgar saying, "And that's why I don't like having guy friends. Men don't listen to shit."
Preach.
Tara apologizes, saying this is all her fault. but she does at least know a secret way into the mines. Locke took her through it when they escaped earlier. Following back through the same path from which you escaped, you make your way back to the old man's house where Tara first woke up. Bannon greets him as Arvis, asking for a status update on the town. Arvis says that he's tried reasoning with the town elder, but to no avail. They will not be joining the returners. They prefer neutrality. Edgar hopes that there are those in town who want to join, as the scene fades to black one final time. A message appears saying that the three groups have arrived in Narsh, reunited at last, and now with new allies by their side. Which is great, because a decisive battle is about to unfold. The scene returns in the home of the town elder. Bannon is arguing with him as Edgar and Tara stand by his side. The elder refuses to allow the blood of his people to be spilled by choosing a side in this conflict. Bannon explains that the Esper that was found in these mines has guaranteed that death is on his doorstep. The Empire will crush all who stand in its way to get its hands on that thing. If they do that, then we're looking at a second war of the Magi. Just then, Sabin, Cyan, and Gao enter, introducing the two newcomers to the group.
Sabin goes, I made friends!
They report back on the situation at Doma Castle, and that Kefka personally poisoned the entire kingdom. The elder spits back that it happened because Doma was working with the returners. As long as Narsh remains neutral, that won't happen here. Locke shows up saying, think the fuck again, explaining that the blonde lady with him is General Celeste, and that the Empire is positioning to attack Narsh in the next few hours. Cyan sees Celeste, and his eyes glow red, saying he knew he recognized that treacherous bitch. She led the army that ransacked the town of Miranda and took it over for the Empire. He pushes Gao to the side and confronts Celeste face to face. Locke stands in the way, saying that Celeste has agreed to join the returners and to stand down. Plus, he promised to keep her safe, and he will never let a woman down whom he swore to protect. Edgar looks at Locke and goes, Jesus, Locke, you're still not over that, are you? Because Locke was not referencing Tara when he told Celeste she reminds him of someone.
Ooh, mystery.
Tara steps forward during this exchange and says, I was also an Imperial soldier. Cyan is flabbergasted, finding himself surrounded by the enemy.
He's like, who the fuck put this team together?
Edgar tells Cyan that the Empire may be evil, but that doesn't mean every person under its rule is. Sabin puts his hand on Cyan's shoulder, telling him to trust his brother on this one. He's a king after all. He knows a thing or two about politics. A guard busts in the room and says that Kefka and a battalion of Magitech soldiers has been spotted marching toward Narsh. Bannon tells everyone to prepare for battle as the scene cuts to the approaching army. Kefka marches in the lead, telling his men that the Esper is all that matters. Kill anyone they see.
Ugh.
One argues back, saying that the citizens of Narsh are innocent. They're a neutral town. Kefka says there's a reason oppose rhymes with dispose.
What?
If they get in your way, kill them. With a final, yes, sir, the troops march onward as we rejoin the returners, preparing for battle. The elder says that the Esper has been moved to the highest point of the mountain range over the mines. There's a bottleneck in the mines that will make for a great map, forcing the battle into corners they can control. Locke knows the location well, as it's where the Mughal battle took place before. On the way, Edgar pulls Celeste aside to explain that Locke has a complicated past. The whole protection stuff isn't a crush or anything like that. She looks at Edgar with contempt, saying she's a warrior, not a love-starved child. Edgar's like, good to know. I'll withhold my next offer then.
Edgar! You are walking into battle! Read the fucking room!
Celeste next breaks off to speak with Tara, saying she never thought the two of them would see each other again. Tara remarks that she knows Celeste can use magic as well, but that hers is different somehow. Celeste tells Tara that she was experimented on since she was a child.
Ugh.
The Empire raised her to be a Magitech warrior, imbuing her with the ability to use magic. Tara asks Celeste if she's capable of loving someone?
That's a jump in conversation. What the fuck?
Well, Celeste angrily tells her to fuck off for mocking her and storms away, only to run into Cyan, who says he does not trust thou one bit. Celeste tells him to check her kill count in the coming battle, then tell her which side she's on.
That's hard. Hell yeah.
The group finally makes its way to the bottleneck and divides into 3 groups across the 7 fighters. Kefka arrives with his army and laughs. He turns to his men and says, "Look, everyone, it's that traitor General Celeste. Bring back her head for me, will you?"
Oof.
You fight your way through the forces, eventually defeating them all. Then you get to fight Kefka himself at last.
Fucking finally.
But after a couple rounds of exchanging blows, Kefka flees, saying that just because he's running doesn't mean you won.
But it does mean you're a bitch.
With the Empire gone, you continue with your original mission, which was to go to the Esper and try to communicate with it. You find it on the cliff where the story began. The giant frozen Esper begins to glow as you approach it, with Cyan remarking that it looks alive inside the ice. Locke glances over at Terra and asks what's wrong, as a flash of light erupts from the Esper, sending the entire party flying.
Whoa.
Some of whom only barely grab onto the edge of the cliff. All but Terra, that is. She stands tall, with nothing and nobody between she and the Esper. Light glowing back and forth between the two. They enter a battle screen, but do not fight. Terra instead approaches the Esper, asking if it's trying to say something to her. Then Terra starts to beg, "Please, tell me, who am I? Who?" The other members of the group start calling out to Terra, saying not to trust the Esper. But she doesn't listen, as the two connect with a bolt of energy once again. Only this time, it doesn't knock her out cold. She screams out as her entire appearance begins to transform.
Oh.
The green-haired woman becomes a 2-legged creature, pure white in color, from her long hair to her feet with light purple highlights throughout her naked body. No longer an actual human. The white of her body is more like fur than flesh.
Ah.
Her scream becomes louder and louder, echoing across the canyons, deafening to all who hear it. Then she shoots up into the air and flies off,
Whoa.
a speck of light on the night sky. Hours later, Locke wakes up in Arvis's bed, where Terra woke from her first encounter with the Esper. Celeste is there telling him to wake up. He asks what happened, where's Terra? Celeste says that she turned into some kind of creature. To Celeste, she looked like an Esper.
Whoa.
Edgar comes in saying that witnesses are reporting a flying, screaming thing moving west.
So she'll be easy to track down.
Locke jumps to his feet saying that he promised to protect Terra, so we need to get going right now. Edgar says to slow down. The Empire will come back for the Esper that's still here, so they need to secure that first. From the group of 6, you select up to 4, leaving the others to secure Narsh. I would actually recommend only 3 for reasons we'll talk about later. But you should really have Edgar with you, as you'll be using Figaro Castle's dive feature to travel west to another section inaccessible by foot.
But accessible by underground castle.
Plus, all shops are half off for him if he's the lead member of your party.
Ooh, that's really fucking cool.
There's essentially a quicksand river underneath Figaro that allows it to dive.
That's rad.
The river has a round trip current between where you first saw it and the other side of the mountain, allowing it to relocate itself.
He is a genius for the piece of property he got and its capabilities.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the Simpsons movie with Maggie's sandbox.
Oh, yeah.
Once you get inside Figaro Castle, if Sabin is with you, he takes it all in and goes, "Man, it's been ages. I'm gonna go look around." Then fucks off to revisit his old stomping ground.
He's like, I hid a little bit of weed in my room. It might still be good.
Well, anyone who's moved away from home and come back years later, they can understand that.
Are you thinking about the time you and I were at my childhood bedroom and I opened up a fucking stuffed Bats Maru and it had a bunch of original Recipe for Loco in it?
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Oh, it stripped paint off a boat.
Putting the castle into travel mode takes a bit more preparation than an emergency dive. So while the king's men set things up, you go to rest. While you do, you rejoin Sabin wandering the castle, thinking how everything is the same, but different. especially with Dad gone. He sits in his brother's throne and has a flashback to some years prior, to the night his father, the previous king of Figaro, died from some unspoken disease. Sabin, always the more emotional of the two brothers, doesn't handle it well, running around the castle crying. Edgar eventually catches up to him, joining his twin in his sadness. The High Priestess approaches, telling them that their father's dying words were that he entrusts the future of Figaro to the two of them. Sabin shouts, "Unbelievable! The Empire totally just poisoned our father, and all you can think about is who will be the next king. Is that what it was like after Mom died when we were born? Just who's going to be the king's next wife?" She says no, it was nothing like that. He shoves her aside and begins climbing the stairs to the castle's tallest spire. Edgar apologizes to her on his behalf, saying he'll talk to him. Looking out over the desert, Sabin tells Edgar that the two of them should just say fuck it, run away from all this and just live their lives as normal people. Besides, Edgar's always said he never wants to be king.
Oh.
Edgar asks what Sabin thinks will happen with both of them gone. In Edgar's fantasy version of events, Dad just simply never died, and he never had to become king. But faced with the reality that he's really gone, he can't help but worry about Figaro and its people. Edgar pulls something out of his pocket, saying it was Dad's lucky coin. Since neither brother wants to be king, and Figaro can't survive without one, they'll settle it with a coin toss.
Oh.
Heads, Sabin wins. Tails, Edgar wins, with the winner getting to decide their own fate. Sabin agrees, and Edgar flips the coin high into the air. The scene fades as it continues to spin, coming back to Sabin sitting in the throne that he gave up, as the coin had landed on heads, and he chose his freedom.
Ugh.
Edgar enters the room, seeing his brother on the throne. He says that after 10 years, the little shrimp has become a whopping lobster.
Wait, I love that phrase. That was such a heartfelt, beautiful scene of lore. And then he's like, "You're a little shrimp and now you're a big lobster." That's so cute.
And Sabin retorts that makes Edgar the king crab.
They're adorable and I love them.
Edgar takes a seat in his mother's old chair next to his own and asks Sabin if he thinks Dad would be proud of how he's ruling the kingdom. Sabin says that he's likely beaming with pride wherever he is.
They love each other.
They toast to his memory, as 10 years has gone by far too fast. Shortly after, the castle is ready to move.
What a wild sentiment to turn from that scene. All right, we can have the castle dive into the sand now.
Activating the dive function, Figaro Castle dips beneath the sand and rises back out on the other side of a mountain range, just outside the village of Collingen. In the local pub, you can find Shadow hanging out with Interceptor.
He's always at a bar.
If you have 3 characters in your party instead of 4, he'll join you.
Oh, that's great.
Otherwise, he'll tell you to leave him alone. The villagers here say that they saw Tara come flying in like a bat out of hell. She crashed into a home, setting it on fire in the wreck.
Oh.
Then she stood up, shook it off, and flew away again, this time heading south. You also find out that this is where Locke grew up. He doesn't visit often, but when he does, he always stops by Rachel's house. Rachel died years ago. But just before she did, her final words were, "If a man named Locke returns, please tell him that I love him."
Oh.
In the basement of Rachel's home, her body rests, undisturbed and perfectly preserved by some mysterious force, while Locke searches the planet for a means to bring her back.
Oh.
Heading south, you find the town of Jador. It's the westernmost and wealthiest town in the world, featuring an auction house full of valuables that people travel the world over to visit. Jador gentrified about 20 years prior and kicked all the poors out of town. They were forced to build their own shitty village named Zozo, far enough away from here as to not bother them, but not so far away that their people can't make it to work on time.
Zozo's such a condescending name for like the suburbs that people had to move out of when they got kicked out of town and priced out.
Right, it's just like Avenue Z.
Yeah.
Citizens of Jador never visit the poor town of Zozo because the people there think it's funny to lie to anyone from out of town. You genuinely cannot trust a single word that comes out of their mouths. Class warfare aside, you're here looking for Tara, and you hear that she passed over Jador and landed near Zozo. But that's not the only thing you hear. If Celeste is in your group, people will mistake her for someone named Maria, saying she's the spitting image of a local celebrity who performs in the nearby opera house, which is closed at the moment, as Maria is taking some time off due to a recent problem she's having with one of her fans.
Got a Lizzie Wizzy situation.
Yeah, but never mind all that. It's not important. So you head off to Zozo to see what happened to Tara. Built from the spare parts of other, more wealthy communities, rusting away thanks to the never-ending rainfall that douses the depressing town nestled in the bosom of the surrounding mountain range, Zozo exists, despite everyone's best efforts. The first person you speak to even says, Zozo? Never heard of it. Proving the rumor that they lie to outsiders is absolutely true. It's also the only town on the world map where you have random encounters with enemies, as towns are typically safe havens from attacks. But not in Zozo. Fortunately, if everyone lies, then it's pretty easy to figure out the truth. Just assume the opposite. There are also a shitload of people who will help you figure out what time it is. They lie about the number for the hour hand, the minute hand, even the second hand. The numbers left out tell you what time it is. Now, there's a clock in town that needs to be set, and when you do, it reveals a secret treasure.
Ooh.
The treasure is King Edgar's best weapon.
His charm.
A chainsaw.
Wait, what? I'm sorry, is he Ash from the Evil Dead for no reason? We're going full Bruce Campbell? I love this. I love a chainsaw.
Wrong horror icon.
Oh.
So the chainsaw takes two forms. The main and most typical attack is actually a circular saw, not a chainsaw, despite the name of the weapon.
Oh.
The circular saw is modified so it spins at the end of a long arm while Edgar twirls around, slashing enemies with it.
Stop, that's so fucking cool.
The other form occurs about 1 in 10 attacks. This one is a chainsaw. Edgar puts on a hockey mask.
Stop.
Picks up a gigantic chainsaw and one-shots whatever enemy is unlucky enough to feel its wrath.
Edgar's so fucking cool. I need to have a conversation with him about how he speaks to women. But other than that, he's so fucking cool.
Oh, he's incredibly cool, like I said. One of the townsfolk lets slip that there's absolutely not a strange all-white creature resting in one of the tallest buildings in town.
I love the specificity of the lies. It's like, that's great.
After climbing said building, you find the Esperfied Tara lying in a bed. You try waking her, but she only stirs. Then a voice from nowhere says that she's frightened. In the corner of the room, a very old man wearing an oversized robe, featuring a long white beard and carrying a staff appears out of thin air, asking if you're friends of hers. You ask if Tara is all right, and the old man says, "So Tara's her name. Interesting." At that, she wakes up and runs around the room, crashing into walls like a fly stuck in a jar. She crashes out and lands on the ground in a mess on the floor. The old man says not to worry about it. She's just accessing powers she didn't know she had. It takes some time, but she'll get used to them eventually. As for who he is, his name is Ramu, the Esper.
Oh.
You ask how that's possible. Espers live in another world. Ramu says that doesn't mean they can't also live in this one. He's fortunate in that he looks human, so he blends in here. Other Espers are not as fortunate.
I love that Zozo became kind of the catch-all for residents that got displaced.
Yeah.
Including Espers who got displaced.
After the War of the Magi, the Espers chose to leave this world, in fear of humans trying to once again steal their power. For 1,000 years, they stayed hidden, until about 20 years ago. A group of humans managed to find the entrance to their secret world. A man named Gestal came through and kidnapped a bunch of Espers. He was caught and thrown out, leading to the Espers adding extra protection to the entrance of their world. That's when the Empire began their Magitech research, utilizing the Espers Gestal had managed to bring back with him. Ramu was one of the ones taken, but he managed to escape thanks to his human appearance, but only barely. He's been hiding here in Zozo ever since his escape. Then Tara came flying through the window after he sensed her and called out mentally. You ask if that means Tara is an Esper, and Ramu says no. She's actually something else entirely.
Oh.
Terra is already struggling with her newfound powers. It's best to leave the existential questions for later. Ramu says that if you were to break into the Magitech research facility and free the other Espers there, they can help Terra understand her true nature better. Besides, Gestal isn't even draining Espers of their powers properly. Doing it by force will produce results, but weak ones. It's not until an Esper transforms into a crystal called a Magicite can their strength be fully transferred to another being.
That's why Celeste's power isn't as strong as Terra's.
Exactly.
Ah.
Saying he will demonstrate by transforming himself here and now.
Oh.
The transformation will kill him, but he deserves it for abandoning his people and hiding here like a coward.
No, dude. No. He's being dramatic.
3 Magicite crystals appear, and Ramu says that they were his companions who fled the facility with him, but they perished in the escape, offering you their power as well. With a flash of lightning, Ramu transforms into Magicite. His final words ring out that you must stop the Empire before a second War of the Magi breaks out.
I feel like he could have stuck around for another hour to give more context on Terra. Like, why is she a lunatic animal now? That would be great. Maybe let's have a cup of tea before you go. Come on, man. This was a brash decision.
Nah, that's for somebody else.
Oh.
You collect the Magicite, tell Terra you'll be back soon, and depart. The party members you left in Narsh show up so you can fill them in on everything going on. The capital is on another continent, so you'll need to figure out transportation of some sort. Knowing that all ports are dangerous at the moment, as they are the first areas taken over by the Empire, plus their navy is unmatched. Jador has a bunch of rich people though. Maybe you can talk someone into helping you out. Celeste says that whoever goes needs to take her along, since she knows the inner workings of the capital like the back of her hand. Locke says that means he's going too, refusing to let Celeste out of his sight. You can choose up to 2 more members, and the others return to Narsh to help keep it safe from Gestal's forces. Now that you have the Magicite, it opens a whole new world of possibilities for your party. Where before, only Celeste and Terra could use magic, now any party member of your choosing can use it. Each Esper has a set of magic spells it can teach. A character must hold the Magicite in their inventory, and while they level up, it teaches them that spell.
That's great.
Stronger spells, taking longer to learn. The Esper can also be used as a summon in battle. It will appear and use a single move that represents the general vibe of the spells the Esper teaches. For example, Ramu teaches thunder spells, so his special attack is lightning-based. Some are offensive, defensive, or grant buffs and debuffs. It's a fantastic change to gameplay, adding a whole new layer of strategy, as summons can only be used once per battle. Once you reach Jador, you decide to visit the richest person in town and work your way down from there. As soon as you enter his home, you see a man in a tuxedo running about frantically. Seeing Celeste, he goes, "Maria! Finally, I was so worried." Then, realizing it's not Maria, he gets mad and leaves, saying he must find Maria. But damn, girl, you look so much like her. On his way out, he drops a letter on the ground. The man who owns the house says that everyone calls Tuxedo Man the impresario.
Dork.
He runs the local opera house. He received that letter earlier today and has been freaking out ever since. You read the letter and it says, "Dearest Maria, I've decided to take you as my wife. So, I'll be coming to kidnap you."
Oh!
Signed, the Wandering Gambler.
Dear Maria, count you in. You're mine now, bye.
Locke asks who this wandering what's-it is, and the rich man asks if he was born in a barn or something. The scene fades and returns aboard the deck of a flying boat.
Oh.
Think pirate ship, but with a blimp instead of sails.
Yeah.
A man with long silver hair stands at the bow, looking out over the world below him as triumphant, adventurous music begins to play. We are then introduced to the gambling vagabond Setzer, aboard the Blackjack, his personal airship. The only one in the world, in fact. Guess which one Tetsuya Nomura made? Celeste is like, well, there's our ride to the capital. You decide to go to the opera house to see if the impresario has more information on this whole Setzer situation, and to see if it's possible to set up a meeting with the would-be bride thief. When you get there, The impresario says that Setzer will likely show up at the climax of the first act of the play. He loves to make an entrance.
Yeah, the guy with the blimp is definitely dramatic.
Locke says that's perfect. As soon as he shows, they'll jump him. The impresario asks if you're crazy. The show will be ruined if you do that. He'll be fired if it's ruined, and he won't let you get him fired.
Dude.
He wants Maria to be safe, but he also needs the show to be a hit.
He's silly. I like him a lot.
Locke suggests that we just let Setzer take her then. Everyone goes, "What the fuck did you just say?" Then Locke says, Celeste will stand in as a decoy. Setzer will kidnap a war general instead of an actress. He won't know what hit him. Then they can commandeer his ship from there.
Absolutely. Get it, Locke?
Maria can just hide in the wings while this all goes down. Then she'll step in for Act 2 after Setzer is long gone, and the audience won't know the difference. The show must and will go on.
This implies, Laura, that Locke is a theater kid.
Seriously, right?
Okay.
He came up with that plan quick, too.
Yeah. I want to say, like, maybe he was a Sweeney Todd.
Okay.
You know, a little bit of, yeah, let's do that.
Everyone loves the idea, except Celeste,
No way.
who says she's a general, not some opera floozy.
You know those opera floozies.
She runs off, but everyone notices her heading straight for Maria's dressing room.
Good girl.
She slams the door, and Locke puts his ear to it, listening to her off-key as fuck singing as she warms up for the show.
She is like, I hate all of you. All right, it's my big moment.
The rest of the group laughs at the sounds of pitchy wailing, while the camera pans to the side, where a familiar face is hiding behind some curtains. It's the purple octopus, Ultros.
No! Out of every character we've met a lot of characters. I did not expect the silly octopus to be the Phantom of the Opera.
He laughs, saying he's finally going to get his revenge, as Setzer's not the only one with a surprise plan today.
He's saying this out loud because he's a cornball.
Oh yeah, he's saying it entirely to himself out loud.
Shouldn't he be like gasping for air?
Not at all, no.
All right.
Saying that his plan will be tons of fun. But we don't know that reference yet.
Oh. He just put a lot of sauce on that for no one.
He then tosses a letter at the group, but they don't see it as they all head to the balcony to take their seats for the show. Ultros is mad, wondering if anyone will read his note.
I love that he's poorly executing a second plan that no one's aware of.
Right. The show begins with all of Jador in attendance, and then some. The conductor begins waving his baton as the music begins, and the play's narrator comes out to detail the setting. The play's hero emerges, singing a song to his lost love, Maria, whose name in the play is fortunately the same as the actress as well.
That's convenient.
As he sings, Locke stands up, saying he's going to go check up on Celeste before she goes on, see if she needs to run lines or anything.
That's a weak excuse. Also, are they doing West Side Story?
No, they are not.
Okay.
Kind of. I mean, all stories are West Side Story.
That's fair.
In the dressing room, Celeste is no longer in her battle bitch attire, and is instead wearing a long white dress with her hair up in a multi-layered ponytail. Locke sees her and blushes, asking if she's always been that pretty.
Locke.
Then says the bow in her hair suits her. Celeste is nervous, saying that the next scene is her big solo. Locke suggests she read the script one last time before heading out, giving you a chance to review it. Celeste hears her cue and walks onto the stage for her big debut, and every fan's absolute favorite moment. The music plays as Celeste walks onto a castle set, pouring her heart out in song. As the player, you're given options for the next lines in the song. Stumble over a single lyric, and the show is over. You have to do it once more with feeling. This sequence is so monumental. It was the only one to get a special cutscene in the Pixel remaster, complete with voiced lyrics. This was the first time I saw romantic love depicted in a video game. She was singing to the play's hero, Draco, but the subtext was there. Celeste, the badass, angry, magic-wielding warrior woman, pours her heart out in song. Understanding for the first time, Tara wasn't being a bitch when she asked if Celeste was capable of loving someone, realizing that she never could love anyone because General Celeste was all she was allowed to be. Just about every musical has a moment where the leading lady sings about the things she wants, making the audience root for her the rest of the show. This is that moment for Celeste. Finally, breaking free from the Empire and becoming the woman she was never allowed to be. From the top of the castle's highest tower, during the greatest moment of her life, Celeste foreshadows her worst, throwing a bouquet of roses out into the nothingness as she sings the final notes of the song. The song ends, and Celeste moves on to the next scene, where her character has to dance with the villain of the story as she awaits the hero to rescue her, which the impresario is assuming will be the moment Setzer makes his move. While she dances, Locke watches from the wings, cheering on Celeste's performance. Deciding to head back to his seat, he leaves the dressing room where he finds the note Ultros threw at your group. It says, "I owe you guys one, so I'm gonna jam up your opera. XOXO, Ultros."
Fucking. Why is he Gossip Girl?
You run and tell the impresario about the letter, and he panics. You look up into the rafters and see Ultros shoving a 4-ton anvil, trying to tip it over onto the stage.
Is he a fucking Looney Tunes character?
Fully.
Does that shit say Acme on the side?
No, it says 4 tons in giant letters.
Oh my god. First of all, I get that octopi are strong.
Right.
But 4 fucking tons.
4 tons.
My guy.
Well, he sees you looking up and gasps, saying, "It's going to take at least 5 minutes to push this thing over."
He announces that he's on a timer. This stupid fucking octopus. I love him so much, Tom.
The impresario begs you to stop him as the show continues down below, now with the hero and villain engaged in a duel. A timer counts down from 5 minutes as you make your way through the maze of rafter beams toward Ultros.
Ultros has such a good sense of his own physical capabilities. He's like, if I start pushing 4 tons at this angle with this much pressure, like he did the physics math in his head real fucking quick.
You could set a fucking timer to it.
Yeah.
When you arrive, Ultros decides that tackling your group will do just fine, and the 4 of you, Ultros included, go tumbling down to the stage below,
Oh no.
landing directly on top of the hero and villain, knocking them both out.
And he's an octopus, so he's all squishy and wet and shit.
The narrator runs on stage wondering who is left to win the girl's hand. How can the story possibly continue?
That's good improv. He said yes, and this is a part of it.
Locke stands up as everyone else recovers from the fall. He sees the audience and takes it as his cue. Then jumps up saying that he, Locke, the world's premier adventurer, shall take her as his wife. The narrator sighs, saying, "Such bad acting."
That's bad improv. You don't say someone's a bad performer on stage. Poor Locke. He really tried, though. He's a thief and a rogue. He's not used to the spotlight. He really tried. I have my heart out for him. I do sympathize with a thief, you know? Oh, he did his best.
Well, Ultros laughs, saying that he is octopus royalty, and only royalty can marry the princess.
Ultros is a royal octopus.
Now fight me, you knave. The narrator goes, "Well, let's make the most of this. Maestro, music."
This is fantastic.
Ultros asks if you missed him, and the fight begins. After he's defeated, a voice rings out from high above saying, "What an excellent performance. Now, if I may." Setzer drops down to the stage, grabbing Celeste, saying that he's a man of his word. He holds her tightly, then grabs a dangling rope that takes him flying off stage, up and away through a window to his airship.
That's cool.
The narrator concludes Act 1, telling everyone to be sure and return for the exciting conclusion. On board the Blackjack, Setzer places Celeste in a stateroom, telling her he'll come back to give her plenty of attention. She pounds on the door screaming as he leaves, then turns to break the fourth wall and winks at the player as this was all part of the plan.
She's so fucking cool. I was kind of iffy on her. I was like, man, that's a rough start.
Mm-hmm.
She's badass as
Oh,
fuck.
she's wonderful, right? She opens a window and tosses down a rope for Locke and the others to climb up. Celeste changes back into her usual garb as the rest wait for Setzer to return. When he does, he demands to know what's going on. This woman is not Maria. Celeste explains that they need his ship to go to the capital, playing to his ego, calling it the finest vessel in all the world. Plus, the King of Figaro is on our side. He'll be rewarded handsomely. Honestly, they really ignore the whole attempted kidnapping thing when it comes to Setzer.
They just gloss over it. They're like, you know what? Not our biggest problem today.
Let's move past that. Setzer reveals that he is no friend to the Empire. They're super conservative in their beliefs and are shutting down gambling halls wherever they conquer.
Vices are not aligned with people who want to rule over others. That is a fact.
So if Celeste agrees to be his wife, he'll lend his ship to the returners.
You know what he just fucking said?
Hmm.
No BJ, no PJ.
Oh my god. I've not heard that one.
Oh. You're not on
but I
enough.
know what it means.
That's on some brain rot shit, but you get it.
All right. Locke is like, absolutely not. But Celeste interrupts him saying, deal, but on one condition. She goes over to Edgar and they exchange a few words we don't get to hear. Walking over to Setzer, she says that we'll flip a coin for it. Heads, Setzer helps with no conditions attached. If it's tails, he still helps, and Celeste will marry him. Being a gambling man, Setzer accepts. Celeste flips the coin and watches it land on heads. Setzer picks up the coin and turns it in his hand, then laughs, saying he's never seen a two-headed coin before, admitting that he was played and enjoying the audacity. Sabin sees this coin and looks at his brother, saying it better not be the same fucking coin.
You know it is, honey.
Edgar lowers his head, ashamed by the truth, speechless.
But that coin has saved 2 lives now.
Oh my god, right?
It gave Sabin power of his own life, and it gave Celeste the exact same thing. I know Sabin's upset that he was tricked, but God, Edgar's a good man.
He's a fucking great man,
he's
isn't he?
He's a little fucking weird, but
needs to work on his way with women.
yeah, he needs a little bit of approach lessons, but god damn it, he's a good man.
Setzer exclaims that the only thing he's never gambled with is his life. This should be fun. Flying over the ocean toward the capital city of Vector, the airship is tiny against the colossal metal castle that takes up the city center. Setzer lands just outside of the city. Far enough away, they shouldn't see the airship coming. He says he'll stay on board in the event you need a quick getaway.
Now he's the getaway driver. This is great.
Vector is not the only settlement on this continent either, as there are a few outlying towns as well. Visiting them before heading to Vector, you can see that living near the capital is not necessarily a good thing, as these settlements were the first to be conquered, with military personnel destroying their very way of life by taking over everything and claiming it as their own. Vector itself is an interesting place, as the people there seem oblivious to the chaos of the outside world, perfectly content to ignore any real issues the world faces, so long as the capital provides them with safety and comfort. One man even saying that the Empire burned down his hometown, but he's here to join the military, so he can do the same to someone else. There's also a woman who says that the head of Magitech Research, a man named Sid, is so incredibly smart, he has given her son the ability to use magic, and he's only 5.
Whoa.
Now, Sid is a name that gets used in every single Final Fantasy since the second title. Sometimes they're good, others they're bad, morally ambiguous, or on rare occasions, they're even available as party members. I'll let you decide where this Sid lies. Eventually, you meet a member of the Returners, who says he's here to cause a distraction so you can sneak into the research facility. The man runs up to some guards yelling, "I'm gonna spew!" Then starts retching, causing the guards to back away.
He's a goofball.
You sneak into the facility and start working through it, battling guards along the way. Eventually, you hear Kefka's iconic laugh, so you hide. He's feeling extra powerful today, godlike even, having just finished draining 2 espers of everything they have.
Oh my god. See, he's on the Harvest Bioshock team, not the Save Bioshock team.
You can see 2 big espers with him. Not humanoid like Ramu, more animalistic and unnatural looking. Kefka says these 2 are useless to him now, as they lay there struggling to breathe.
Oh.
Then he tosses them into a garbage chute, laughing as he does.
Into the garbage chute, fuckboy.
Knowing how espers actually work, you follow down the trash tube and tumble out into a room where the 2 espers landed. When you get there, they lash out, attacking you, unsure of who you are. The bigger of the 2, a green and horned devil-like creature named Ifrit, controls fire magic, while the other, a blue womanesque being named Shiva, is an ice-based esper. Honestly, we're at a point I should just come out and say it. Espers are Pokemon, more or less.
Oh.
They just don't evolve, but they can take any form, really, and also predate Pokemon by several years.
Okay, I mean, some Pokemon don't evolve, I get you.
Quickly into the fight, they recognize Ramu's power on you, saying that if he trusts you, they'll trust you as well, turning themselves into Magicite.
Oh, just like, all right, you can have my life.
Yeah.
Pop. Oh.
Their voices ringing out that the others in the facility will do the same for you. All they want is for you to stop the Empire. If they reopen the doorway to their world, the Second War of the Magi is inevitable. The further you go into the research center, the stranger the enemies become. Experiments of Sid as he learned how to wield the power of an Esper and transfer it to a human. In one room, you find a half-dozen espers in glass tubes floating, having been mostly drained. They see Ifrit's Magicite and decide to transform for you as well. A man wearing a yellow lab coat comes busting into the room asking, "What have you done?" This is his precious research. What did you do to the espers? What are these crystals floating where the espers used to be? Then, looking at the readouts on his machines, he says the power levels are off the charts. Realizing that a dead esper is far more powerful than a living one.
No, that's not a good lesson for this man to learn.
The glass tubes shatter, and the Magicite flies into your hands. Sid notices General Celeste, happy to see one of his most successful experiments, and asks if the others in the party are her underlings. She sighs and says, no, they're not. Then, Sid asks if it's true she was sent on a top-secret mission to infiltrate the Returners as a spy.
Motherfucker.
Wondering if it was a success.
No, he's lying.
Locke rounds on Celeste, asking her if it's true. And she hangs her head in shame.
No! Wait, I'm betrayed right now.
Kefka enters the room laughing, saying, "Good! Sid finally figured out how to obtain Magicite. Oh, General Celeste, welcome back. No need to keep up the charade any longer."
Oh my god.
Locke asks how she could do this to him, and she begs him to trust her. Kefka laughs, saying that this is such a classic Celeste move, using her good looks to distract her enemies. Celeste insists it's not true, but Locke no longer believes her. 2 Magitech armor-clad soldiers enter the room, and Kefka orders them to kill everyone. Celeste says, "Maybe now you'll believe me." Then she casts a spell that causes herself, Kefka, and the soldiers to vanish on the spot, leaving Locke and the others in the party alone with Sid.
Oh.
The facility begins to quake, and Sid tells you that these glass tubes were highly pressurized to absorb the power of the espers. Now that they're broken, they're sucking the energy out of the facility itself. This whole place is going to blow, and he leads you to an emergency elevator, saying that he hates himself for letting Kefka threaten him into creating the madness this place has become. Kefka almost got him killed just now. So Sid's going straight to the Emperor to tell him how fucked this has all gotten. Kefka is out of control. Seeing Celeste turn on Kefka just now also had a huge impact on Sid. He's known Celeste since she was a baby. He practically raised her while filling her with the power of espers. If she turned against the Empire, then maybe it's a sign he should too. You hear Kefka's laugh in the distance, and Sid shoves you into a minecart-like vehicle that leads out of the research center. He'll go find the Emperor while you make your escape. It's a memorable sequence, as you have to battle while on the minecart ride, and the graphics do some more stunts that we had never seen pulled off on 16 bits before.
Oh, that's cool.
At the end of the line, the cart crashes into a Magitech soldier, sending him flying into a bottomless pit. You hop out, and Setzer comes running up saying you were taking a long time and he was worried. Looking around, he asks where Celeste went. Realizing no answer is coming, he says he'll worry about that later, let's go, and he rushes the group back to the airship. Taking off, Kefka orders the castle's defense system to attack the airship before it gets away, giving you a chance to fight using Setzer finally, whose attacks are, appropriately, a gamble. He can throw cards at enemies like he's Gambit for low damage,
Okay.
or use his slot machine ability to potentially hit them really hard, so long as you manage to get a jackpot on the slot machine that appears in battle.
Slot machine ability is insane.
Honestly, Setzer usually stays on the ship in my playthroughs because also, he's kind of a fucking creep. Once free of the Empire's forces, you head back to Zozo to check on Terra. When you arrive, the rest of the party is there as well. One of the pieces of magicite that you have with you begins to glow when Terra wakes up, causing her to glow as well. Terra says, "Father, is that you?"
Oh.
It flashes brightly in response, to which Terra says she remembers everything. And the scene fades to a far-off village full of espers. Taking on the role of an esper named Maduin, you find a human woman named Madeline at the entrance of the esper world. She hated the greed and corruption of the human race and came here to seek refuge. You tell her that humans and espers can't coexist, so she agrees to leave. But then you stop her, saying that you could at least try, though. The two of you fuck and create a little green-haired baby.
That was 0 to boning.
It really was.
Okay.
2 years later, Emperor Gestal arrives and starts kidnapping espers. The oldest esper says that he has no choice. He has to cast out all humans and create a magical barrier that can never be opened again. Madeline says there's nothing left for her in the human world, and secures herself so she doesn't get swept out in the process. But some of the other espers think she may have led the Empire here, saying she should be thrown out as well. You argue with them, but Madeline runs out just as the spell to cast out the humans begins. You run to catch up to Madeline and find her at the mouth of the doorway, saying she swears she didn't lead them here. You tell her you know she didn't, and pull her back toward the esper side. But she loses her grip, causing Terra to fly out. And Madeline dives after her. So you go too. The camera is positioned between the doors closing, and we watch as Emperor Gestal figures out that Terra is half human, half esper, kills Madeline, takes Maudwin captive, and carries toddler Terra away, just as the magic barrier closes the humans out for good. Returning to Zozo, Terra is no longer in her esper form, but her human one, saying she thinks she can control it now. She just had to adjust to it. Now, in battle, she can turn into Esper Terra for a short period of time, giving her increased magic power. Terra asks how Narsh is, causing you all to decide to head there to see. Setzer announces that the airship is ready and waiting, so your entire party boards it together for the first time. Now, you have complete control of the airship and can fly anywhere on the world map.
Oh, fast travel.
Including remote islands full of high-level enemies and treasures, lots of grinding opportunities. You can also switch out party members, heal up, and save your game. The only limitation to the airship, really, is that it must land on grass. Nothing else will suffice, limiting you somewhat on where you can access. When you arrive in Narsh, they're expecting you. Bannon is with the town elder and says they've agreed to join the fight. But even with Narsh, Figaro, and the members of the Returners, there's not enough firepower to go up against the Empire's forces. Bannon says they're going to have to do the unthinkable. They're going to need to open the gateway to the Esper world, intending to essentially beg the Espers to join in the fight, as Gestal will stop at nothing to take every last one of them once they have the power to do so. With the Espers on your side, there's a chance you can win this. Bannon says there's literally only one person in the entire world who can convince them to join the fight, as every eye in the room turns to Tara. If literally anyone else were to try, they wouldn't listen. Tara agrees, and the party heads off for the mountain that hides the gateway to the Esper world. But before heading out, there's another party member you can obtain here. One that we kind of met earlier in the game. High up on the mountain ledge where the game began, you find a Moogle being held hostage by a local thief.
Oh, Moogle!
The Moogle freaks out, and the two of them get tossed to the edge of a cliff. You run over to the Moogle and pull him to safety. He stands up and says, "Thank you, Kupo," which is bizarre because these things can't talk.
They usually just say Kupo, right?
Yeah. We are then introduced to Mog, the only Moogle who can speak,
Oh.
and who also has some kick-ass dance moves that can literally move mountains. I also have him tattooed on my chest.
That's what that is?
That's what that is. He explains that some old man named Ramu taught him how to speak Kupo. He kept showing up in his dreams the last couple of nights, saying he needs to help you, Kupo. Seeing as you just saved his life, he agrees to meet you on the airship. Kupo. You make it to the mountain that hides the sealed gate, where you have to puzzle solve and maze crawl through it, as the gate is well hidden. You eventually make it to the doorway. It's basically a mountain peak within the inside of this mountain, accessible by a rope bridge. The mouth of the cave is in the side of this peak, and giant metal doors are closed over it. Tara readies herself as different party members say variations of, "I just want to tell you good luck. We're all counting on you."
Kupo.
Tara approaches the gate, and then you hear the maniacal laughter of Kefka from behind.
This motherfucker.
He's here with a group of soldiers, ready for the doors to open wide. Doubled over with laughter, Kefka says the Emperor was right. Give them Tara, and they'll open the gate for us.
God damn it.
The members of your party, minus Tara, decide to hold off Kefka, if possible, while Tara opens the doorway, knowing they need the Esper's help one way or the other. After trading a few hits, Kefka says, "Look, it's opening." Everyone watches as Tara transforms into an Esper, calling out to her brethren on the other side. The metal doors creak open at her command. Kefka's eyes go wide with excitement, then stay wide in fear, as he says, "I have a bad feeling about this." From the mouth of the cave, dozens of Espers come flying out in fury and rage. They knock soldiers off cliffs, party members to the floor,
Oh, shit.
and Kefka to God knows where. They take off into the sky in a craze, as the doors slam shut once more, and boulders fall in the shape of a skull over them, sealing the door away once and for all.
Oh, fuck.
You escape the mountain, and the rest of your group is waiting for you, saying that the Espers went haywire and went flying straight toward the capital city of Vector. You take off in the airship toward the city, and Tara says she can feel them coming towards the ship. Locke tells her to look out and dives on top of her, as a couple fly by at high speed. Setzer asks what's going on, and Locke dives on him next, as a few more try knocking him off the side. Tara says she can feel the other Espers, and they're angry. Setzer asks why the ship is shaking. Earthquakes don't exist in the sky. Then someone shouts, Setzer, I think I just lost control."
Oh, no.
With the tail end ablaze, you crash the Blackjack just outside of Vector, grounding it and your party for the time being, while Setzer's crew make repairs. You arrive in Vector to find it in absolute chaos. The once oblivious capital city is on fire, with everyone running around screaming, "What the hell is happening?" as the Esper attack occurred in the middle of the night. You approach the metal castle, and one of the Emperor's personal assistants comes up saying the Emperor is expecting you and wants to see you immediately. Along the way, other soldiers tell you that the Espers tore through this place like it was nothing, with many of them losing the urge to fight, knowing they're no match for the Espers. In the throne room, Emperor Gestalt opens by saying he's lost the will to continue. From a door behind him, dressed in his yellow lab coat, Sid, the head of Magitech Research, enters. He's like, so remember how I said I was going to have a chat with the Emperor? Totally worked after the I told you so I got to give him because of the Esper attack. Sid explains that the Espers came looking for their friends. When they found out they were all dead, they destroyed the city.
Reasonable.
Gestalt says that he has been preparing for this war, building an army greater than the world has ever seen. But those Espers, their power was unlike anything he could have prepared for, and they stomped on his army like they were nothing.
Honestly, good for them.
Saying that if we don't do something, the Espers will destroy every human civilization in their rage. To which Sid says, which is why you are never supposed to lust for power that you have no means of controlling, Emperor.
Also, everyone, that's just a good life thing.
Gestalt stands, saying that we'll speak more on the matter at dinner tonight. Sid tells you that some soldiers still want to fight the Espers, asking you to convince them otherwise before dinner, which becomes a sort of mini-game, as you have 4 minutes to speak to as many soldiers as possible. The more you speak to, the better the prizes you'll receive after dinner later. While talking to the soldiers, you find out that the Emperor had Kefka imprisoned.
Good. Oh my god, finally.
Turns out, he had no idea Kefka poisoned Doma Castle, and when he found out, he threw him straight into jail.
Okay, Emperor.
He was already in trouble for the whole Esper fiasco. That just set it over the edge. You can even find Kefka rotting away in a jail, laughing to himself like a lunatic. After the 4 minutes is up, it's time for dinner. During the dinner, there are a few dialogue options you can choose while meeting with him that will also determine the prizes you receive at the end. Essentially, Emperor Gestalt apologizes for everything that has happened under his rule. He was blinded by power, and now he realizes how wrong he was. He also confirms that Kefka acted against his orders in the poisoning of Doma. Also, that Kefka was lying about Celeste being a spy. She really did have a change of heart and was on your side the whole time.
Oh, Celeste.
The Emperor then says he has a request for you all. The Espers are hiding in a mountain on an island called Crescent Island. He wants Terra to go there and attempt to negotiate peace with the Espers, knowing that they truly are the superior beings. She agrees, and Gestalt says he'll send along his top guy, General Leo, to accompany you. Sabin assures the group that Leo has his shit together at the very least, and the party agrees to meet him at a nearby boat. After dinner, you group up and Locke says he doesn't trust the Emperor as far as he can throw him. He's going with Terra and suggests everyone else stay behind just in case shit goes down. As you exit, you receive your prizes for all your hard work before and during dinner, including the removal of all soldiers in occupied towns outside of Vector's continent.
Oh my god, one of your prizes is peace?
It is.
Wow.
As well as some very useful equipment that can only be obtained in this scene.
Here's some stuff for your inventory. Also, we're decolonizing the fucking villages. That feels good.
On the boat, General Leo greets you, saying that another general will be joining you, as well as a local fighter for the trip. Celeste and Shadow board the ship.
My friends!
Celeste greets the group as strangers, but Locke can't hide his recognition. Leo blows past this, saying that the boat will be leaving in the morning and that he's made sleeping arrangements for you all at the local inn. As Leo goes to prepare for the trip, Locke and Terra try to approach Celeste, who runs off to the hotel without saying a word.
I think she's embarrassed.
That night, Locke has trouble sleeping and goes outside for some air. Celeste is there, having the same problem. Locke tries to speak to her, but she refuses, upset and embarrassed that he didn't trust her when she insisted she wasn't a spy. She runs off again, leaving Locke to his thoughts. On the boat the next day, your group sets off. It'll take another day to get there, and Leo suggests the group gathers their strength in the meantime. Terra approaches Leo, as they've known each other a long time. Leo says he heard she's starting to have feelings and emotions again. Terra says she doesn't understand herself right now. The Empire erased her mind and forced her to do so many terrible things. Now, she's voluntarily working with them. Leo says that not everyone in the Empire is like Kefka. There are good people too. She asks, what about him? Leo puts his head down in shame, saying he knew what they were doing to her, knew that she was the daughter of an Esper, and he still did nothing about it. He's honestly no better than Kefka as far as he's concerned. Tara says that he's wrong about one thing. Her feelings and emotions aren't really coming back, as she's unsure if love is something she could ever feel. Worried that it's a curse of being a Happa.
What the hell?
Leo goes, you're like 20. You're still young.
Oh, she's just having existential crisis at 20. We've all been there. It's okay, baby girl.
You'll find someone, don't worry. Then he walks away from this very uncomfortable conversation. Shadow walks up and Tara asks if he heard all that. He apologizes, saying he wasn't trying to overhear anything. Tara heads off to her room, and Shadow tells her stoically that there are many people in this world who have killed their emotions. Try not to be one of them. As you land the ship, Celeste offers to join, but Locke shoots it down without a word, taking Tara and Shadow to explore the island for signs of the Espers. Crescent Island has only one small village on it, so you head there for information first. The village is named Thamasa. They never get visitors, so you stick out immediately. With the villagers acting strangely, saying things like, Espers? Magic? What's that? With most people suggesting you speak to an old man at the far end of town. He's a monster hunter. He should know what an espy is. You find the old man, wearing a big red cape, rocking a pure white mohawk and a long mustache.
Punk rock Santa?
We are now introduced to Strago, the monster hunter. You ask about the Espers, and he says that's a word he hasn't heard in years. But he doesn't know a single thing about them. Not one. Nope, not him. No siree, Bob. Your group is like, okay, something fishy is going on here. A young girl's voice yells out, Grandpa! From a door, a preteen blonde girl comes running into the room, introducing us to Realm. Realm is a painter that can capture everything with her brush, including the very essence of the thing itself. She asks Strago who his friends are and if they can use magic too. Strago is like, hush, child, then turns to your group saying, kids have the wildest imaginations, don't they? Realm notices Shadow's dog Interceptor and runs up to pet the doggy. Shadow warns her that he bites. But shockingly to Shadow, Interceptor takes to Realm like a playdate.
Oh.
Strago tells her to go to her room, the adults are talking, and she storms off with Interceptor by her side, slamming the door as she does.
I love that the dog is like, no, I want cuddles.
Yeah, right? You never let me play, Shadow.
Yeah.
Strago apologizes, and Shadow says it's fine. He's just never seen Interceptor take to a stranger like that before. Strago begins ushering you out the door, saying that Thamasa is clearly just a small village full of boring, dull people. You won't find any information on espers or magic here, so you might as well leave. Deciding to inspect the village a bit more, you part from Strago, but not before Shadow calls for Interceptor. He returns to his side as Realm says goodbye to her new best friend. Outside, you hear a young boy yell, Fire! You look around a building and see a kid setting fire to a bush. Not with a match or a lighter, but with magic.
Oh.
He sees you and runs off scared. You get a room at the local inn, which hasn't had a customer in ages. Had you tried to rent one before talking with Strago, he would have charged you thousands. But now you're a friend of the town, so it's just $1.
Nice.
That night, while you sleep, Strago busts into the room saying he needs your help. Realm is on fire and the house is inside of her. Locke wakes up and asks, I'm sorry, come again? And he says, Realm's in trouble, hurry. Locke, Tara, and Interceptor run off, but Shadow never wakes up until the room is empty. Even then, he just wonders where Interceptor went. Outside, a house is on fire. Strago says Realm was there playing with a friend, and the place lit up in flames. Realm is still inside. The house begins to crumble under the damage, and Strago goes, fuck it, and starts muttering to himself. Then shouts, Flames, be gone, as water flies out of his hands onto the blaze.
Hell yeah.
A neighbor runs over yelling at Strago because he knows magic is forbidden. He tells them to fuck off. Realm is in there. Then all the neighbors gather around Strago and begin casting the same spell on the house. But it's no use, and the house crumples more. Strago says he's going in, and Locke says that he and Tara aren't letting an old geezer go in alone. He says that he's only 70, now shut up and let's go. Strago is considered a blue mage. He can learn magic that is used against him by enemies. Kind of like Gao,
Yeah.
but he doesn't require the Velt to learn new tricks, and his learnings are magic-based, where Gao's are more physical attacks that he learns. The house is massive, with many rooms, but you eventually find Realm thanks to the barking of Interceptor, who has found her and is keeping her safe from the flames despite the fact she's currently unconscious.
Good boy.
But the house quakes and collapses around you, knocking everyone out except the dog. Shadow drops in from above and uses a trusty ninja smoke bomb to get the group out. Smoke bombs being an item in the game that lets you escape instantly from any dungeon or battle.
I was wondering how adding smoke to a fire would help everyone, so thank you for that.
Back at Strago's house, Realm recovers from her ordeal, and Locke asks why everyone in town can use magic. Strago says that this is the village of the Magi. After the War of the Magi, the Espers went to their world, but the humans that could use magic were ostracized. Rounded up and exterminated, in fact. The non-magic using humans feared them and their power. So the few that had managed to evade capture started this village. But magic is in their blood. There's not much they can do about that, so they live here in isolation. If you're looking for Espers, they're likely nearby, as there's a sacred location here on the island for Espers. Realm leaps up excited, saying it's adventure time, but Strago shoots her down, saying it's too dangerous and she has to stay here. She calls him an old fuddy-duddy as your group departs for the sacred cave. Before you leave, Shadow says it's time for him to go. He doesn't like that his dog keeps running off to play with Realm and that fire almost killed all of you.
He's jealous.
He'll keep looking for the Espers, but he's going to do it his own way. The Esper Cave is a large maze, and eventually you come across 3 golden statues, bathed in light cast by a single hole in the ceiling of the cave, allowing the sun to shine through. Strago flips out, as these are the statues of the Warring Triad. They're the gods who created magic in the first place.
Oh, shit.
Which means they created Espers as well, which is why this place is sacred to them. Legend has it, the gods realized they had created too much power by inventing magic, and they turned themselves to stone as punishment. Legend states, the stone gods are in the Esper world, while these statues serve as their link to this world. Figuring the Espers must be nearby, you set out to find them. But a purple octopus descends from above.
You're fucking kidding me.
As Ultros shows up to steal the golden statues.
This stupid fucking fuck.
Seeing you, he asks if you thought you'd seen the last of him. He has more lives than he does arms, don't you know?
This bastard.
This fight is a beast, as Ultros has leveled up since you last saw him. In fact, you can't beat him. And just before he kills you, Realm drops in from nowhere, saying she followed you guys here. Seeing Ultros, she asks his name politely. This throws off Ultros, asking how dare she ask him his name. Everyone knows the great and powerful Ultros. She says, cool, so Ulti, can I paint your picture?
Ulti?
He says, absolutely not. She throws a tantrum, saying fine, she didn't want to paint a stupid picture anyway. I'll just jump off this cliff and everyone will be happy with me gone. Tara rushes to her side and is like, what the fuck, kid? Don't do that. Realm whispers in her ear and Tara nods. Tara runs up to Ultros and yells at him for being so mean to a little girl like that.
Hell yeah, Terrace. Check his fucking ego.
Yeah, don't be such an asshole. Ultros thinks on it and then says, fine, Uncle Ulti wants you to paint his picture.
He, first of all, admits Ulti as his nickname and then is like, I'm your weird octopus uncle now.
Realm jumps up excited, joins the group, and the battle continues. As painting pictures is Realm's special ability. She can replicate any enemy perfectly and use their moves against them. So she paints Ultros and uses his own attack to smack him in the face.
Good. She takes 5 minutes to push a 4-ton anvil on him.
Ultros, seeing his true reflection for the first time, realizes he's a literal washed up old cephalopod, and he runs away in shame.
But he's an octopus, so it's more just like wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Since Realm won't listen when she's told to stay home, Strago decides it's best she joins the party so he can at least keep an eye on her. You continue further into the cave system and finally find an Esper. It's soon joined by more, and Locke tells Strago to take Realm and go. But the way out gets blocked by even more Espers. Strago and Terra begin to prepare spells to cast, scared that the Espers may attack. But one says to stop. They can sense power coming from Terra that matches their own, and want to know why. The Espers had sensed Terra through the Great Barrier when she was there, and when the door opened, they came out to greet her. But the moment they stepped into this world, they all lost control of their powers and went haywire. Similarly to how Terra had done when she first transformed. They did not mean to destroy anything other than the Magitech research facility. That's why they came here, to calm down while their powers leveled out.
They were too zooted and they're like, I need to chill.
Locke explains that the Empire is willing to negotiate a peace deal and encourages them to come to Vector to meet with Gestal. They're apprehensive, so Terra suggests coming to Thamasa first to meet with General Leo. He's a pretty stand-up guy. She's sure he can convince them.
General Leo, famously against poisoning a village.
Back in Thamasa, Leo plays the perfect role of diplomat, rejecting their apology for destroying Vector and the other towns, saying it was the Empire's fault from the very start. Trying to accumulate all that power, it almost brought on a second War of the Magi. Locke approaches Celeste, saying that it looks like their work here is done, and asks if the two of them can start over and be friends again. Peace is finally here, and they were the ones who pulled it off. Then, a sound you shouldn't hear rings out across the masa.
Oh no.
The insane laugh of Kefka.
This motherfucker!
He enters the town with a battalion of Magitech soldiers and tells them it's time for some Magitech mayhem.
Oh, go fuck yourself. First of all, he clearly broke out of jail. Like, in the middle of all the chaos, and then was like, let me assemble a team, get the mechs out. This motherfucker. Oh, I hate him so much.
The soldiers begin by killing General Leo's men.
Those are their colleagues.
Leo runs up to Kefka asking, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Kefka says, sorry, but he's here on the Emperor's orders. He was sent here to slaughter the Espers and return with their magicite. Thanks for rounding them all up into one spot.
Oh, you little bastard man.
Kefka casts a spell that shoots out at an Esper, turning it instantly to magicite.
Oh, one-hit kill.
Having never seen a spell like this, the others try to run. But Kefka is too quick and turns every single Esper into magicite.
This fucking bastard.
Gathering them up, he tells his men to burn this little hamlet to the ground. With everyone but General Leo knocked out, you take control of him and confront Kefka. Leo is a fucking legend.
Hell yeah.
He has attacks that we never saw before.
Ooh.
Absolutely decimating Kefka at each turn by blocking his every attack, whether it be magical or physical.
I know he's had some bottled up fucking angst against him. This is the other coworker that does all kinds of bullshit and gets away with it. And General Leo's the one that just does things by the book. He tries his best. He works hard and he's had to climb for everything. Kefka's probably a fucking Nepo baby. And he's been waiting to kick his ass.
Kefka vanishes and Leo shouts for him to show himself.
Yeah, because he's being a punk bitch. Leo's so fucking real.
Kefka's voice calls out for Emperor Gestal, saying he needs him.
Daddy, like, fuck you.
The Emperor appears in a cloud of smoke.
Oh, Jesus.
Leo drops to one knee as his liege approaches. Gestal apologizes for lying to Leo before, but it was the only way to get all that sweet magicite.
God, see, you can't trust someone who wants to be an emperor.
Well, Leo doesn't understand, because he did come around to the fact that they were the baddies. Kefka's voice comes from the Emperor's mouth as he transforms into Kefka,
Oh, God damn it.
asking if Leo thought he was actually fighting him before. That was an illusion, just like the fake emperor he was just talking to.
What the fuck?
Leo, completely caught off guard, is not ready when Kefka pulls a sword and drives it straight into his chest,
Oh, fuck.
laughing the entire time.
This motherfucker.
With his final breath, Leo asks how could he. Kefka says not to worry, he'll tell his liege that he had to dispose of a traitor.
Ugh.
Kefka screams out, "Die, die, die!" as he finishes off General Leo once and for all.
What the fuck is wrong with Kefka?
Kefka laughs in triumph, but then the world starts to glow in Technicolor flashes. He runs around saying something really powerful is coming. The scene shifts to the sealed gate, covered in boulders. The rocks explode and the door opens as hundreds of espers come flying out, with the one in the lead yelling that they're coming to help and to hold on a little longer. They fly straight to Thamasa, drawn by the power of their own dying. Kefka sees them coming and smiles, thanking them for joining the party.
Ugh.
The more the merrier, after all.
I fucking hate this guy so much.
He turns to his Magitech soldiers, saying he has no choice, and kills his own soldiers, absorbing the magic within their machines.
Holy shit.
All so he can cast one big spell to turn every attacking Esper into Magicite.
Oh my god.
Laughing the entire time, saying it's time to join the Empire of Kefka. With all the Espers dead, he thanks the pile of Magicite at his feet for opening the sealed gate. Now he can go after whatever is left behind. The chaos subsides, and Kefka departs with his Magicite motherlode.
Well, I don't know where we go from here.
The next day, you bury General Leo.
Oh.
Terra asking, why do people want power so badly? She has power, and she fucking hates it. To make matters worse, Interceptor comes limping up to the group with a gaping wound in his leg.
Oh no.
Locke rips off a piece of his clothing and wraps up the injury, wondering where Shadow is, cursing the Empire because who else would hurt a fucking dog?
Right.
Terra remembers they left the rest of the returners back in Vector with the Emperor, wondering how the hell you're going to get back there without any means of transport. As if on cue, the rest of the group enters Thamasa, with Setzer yelling, Guys, it's a trap! The Empire double-crossed us!"
Oh god.
The group stands there, surrounded by the remains of the chaos from the day before, and go, "Yeah, we know. If the lady that brought Edgar his coffee hadn't spilled the tea about the trap, they would have been cooked. This is why Edgar flirts with everyone he meets. You never know how it'll turn out."
Wait, I'm sorry. So there's a method to his, like, weird energy? He's like, no. Sometimes it works, though.
Ladies, chat.
He likes the yappers. Like,
yes, he does.
I still don't love his initial energy, but it's interesting that they're justifying it here, where they're like, well, he schmoozed a barista. And now we're here.
Agreeing they need a plan, the group goes back to the airship, with Strago and Realm in tow, as Strago wants to keep Thamasa safe. Sabin says they don't have time to babysit, and Realm says that if he doesn't shut up, she'll paint his picture. Everyone freaks out, saying, "Realm, no," assuring Sabin that she'll be fine. As the group heads for the airship, Edgar stays behind looking around at the damage the Empire caused here, shaking his head. Realm runs up and says, "Are you coming, lover boy?" Edgar asks, "How old are you, anyway?" She answers, 10. Why? Edgar shakes his head in surprise, not expecting her to be that young. She runs off, and Edgar says, "You'll break a few hearts when you're older, kid."
I hate that.
So here's the thing. I read the "How old are you anyway?" but there are definitely people who read it as "How old are you anyway?"
Ew.
Yeah, so it depends on the inflection you give Edgar there in terms of what he meant by that.
I've been on the receiving end of that, and I immediately got creeped out.
Yeah, even as a kid, I read it kind of as like, "How old are you?" But
well, You and I have experienced society in 2 different ways.
That's very true.
I got nicknamed jailbait in high school.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So when I hear a man say that to a small girl, I'm upset.
Yeah, this whole exchange is one that pretty much everyone hoped would get removed with the remaster. But it's still here, and it's still creepy as all hell.
With as much as they put into this is a very big, wide game. They could have clipped some things.
Something, right?
Yeah. And I know I'd love to imagine it was innocent of like, all right, you're spunky, like, oh, you're fun, you can paint.
Yeah.
People love that. You've got your own backbone and personality, but it could be interpreted the worst way possible.
Entirely, and it's
I don't like
you
it.
would hope not, you know?
Yeah, you're like, come on, Edgar, I want to believe you're a good person.
And that's the thing, is I think that some people reading it the other way are kind of telling on themselves as that's how they would say it.
Yeah, because it gave me a red flag. If it's a green flag for others, that's a bummer.
Yeah. On the ship, Setzer relays that he heard the Empire talking about some stone statues they were going after. Strago's like, fuck, that's the worst possible thing they can do. We need to fly to that gate right now. At the gate, Kefka and Gestal are already there, about to walk across the bridge into the Esper world. The Emperor says that the Warring Triad is just beyond that door. As soon as he claims them for his own, all of their power will be his to control. Kefka laughs, and the Emperor says, let's go. Back on the airship, Terra says something's wrong. She doesn't know why she knows this, but the planet itself is screaming out in pain right now. Looking over the edge, you watch as the ground itself rips apart.
Oh, fuck.
People fall into the gap as husbands dive for wives and mothers call out to their children getting eaten by the hole where land once was. A shadow falls over a town, and they look up to see the entire mountain that hid the sealed gate is now flying high above the world.
Whoa.
Riding its peak, Gestal and Kefka can be seen, standing near the 3 stone gods that make up the Warring Triad. With Kefka laughing like always, and the Emperor saying that he now controls all magic in the world. Strago tells the group that the positioning of the Warring Triad is imperative. When they turned to stone, they made sure to always be facing one another. That way, if any one of them steps out of line, the other 2 can stop them. If the stone statues were to get rearranged in any way, the magic that they have been dampening for 1,000 years will be unleashed and has the ability to destroy the entire planet.
Fuck.
Since the bad guys are on a flying island and you have an airship, you head for the island to stop them from ending the world.
Yeah.
You're instructed to make a party of 3, and then you fly toward the floating continent. The Empire sends flying Magitech warships to stop you, which you have to fight. But you can also see a big pink monster flying around your ship as well.
I've been called worse.
Eventually, it flies up to the stern of the boat, and Ultros hops off its back onto your deck.
This motherfucker. I love that he's in his own game.
He fully is, right?
Like, he was mildly disturbed having a nap in the river. And now he's chasing the rebellion through the end of time.
Through the sky.
Yeah. He shouldn't be okay outside of the water. And now he's in the sky. He's in clouds. I guess he can absorb some water from clouds. I solved my own problem. But the larger problem is that there's an octopus stalking your friends.
The thing that I've never mentioned that Ultras can do in every one of these battles outside of the water is he can dive below the water still.
What do you mean?
He still dives below water even when he's on land. It makes no fucking sense.
He makes no fucking sense. What the First of all, I love him. Second of all, I think I hate him. This is the greatest character in the world.
He says, for real this time. This is our last battle. This time, he brought a friend. That big pink monster.
He has friends?
Yeah, his name is Mr. Chupon, or Mr. Typhon, as they later changed it in the remaster. He has the ability Sneeze, which blows your entire team off the ship in the final moments of the battle.
Oh, shit.
You have a boss fight while falling.
That's cool.
Then superhero land on the floating continent. where you find Shadow splayed out on the ground.
Buddy, get up.
You run to him and he's okay, saying the Empire stabbed him in the back the moment they had no use for him. Then asks if Interceptor is safe, and you assure him he is, so he joins back up with you. Only to leave you again just before the final confrontation, saying he doesn't deserve to fight by your side after all he's done.
Oh, get over your ego and throw a punch, dude.
You approach Kefka and Gestal, standing near the warring triad. Celeste shows up, saying she has a score to settle with the Empire and is here to fight by your side.
Absolutely.
Gestal draws power from the stone gods and unleashes it on your party. Everyone becomes frozen except Celeste. Gestal says that she and Kefka will make marvelous magical babies together that will be raised to lead his new Magitech empire.
Ew.
Kefka hands her a sword and says that if she kills her friends, they'll forgive her. Celeste takes the sword and holds it high over the head of one of her downed colleagues,
Shut the fuck up.
saying that power only brings war. It's time to put a stop to all of this. And turns, driving the sword into Kefka.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Thank you, Celeste. Oh, I got so scared. I was like, it's a double cross? Like, I don't know what dimension we're in. Okay, thank you.
She stands back and Kefka goes, "Ouch, you vicious brat."
It's Brat Summer, baby. Get over it.
Then he stands and commands the warring triad to lend him their power so he can break the brat in half.
Don't break the brat.
He stands in the center of the three, mad that they're not listening to him the way they just did for the Emperor. Gestal tells Kefka to stop. Too much power, and they'll wake from their stone slumber, and then we're all in serious trouble. What's the point of ruling the world if it's destroyed? Kefka tells him he's being weak, and Gestal says that he has no choice but to use the power of the triad to put Kefka to sleep. Kefka laughs at the threat, and Gestal casts his spell. But there's no effect. He casts more, stronger, deadlier spells. But nothing happens. He asks how Kefka is doing this, and Kefka says that he's standing in the center of the warring triad. Magic has no effect here.
It's like the Bermuda Triangle, but to keep magic out.
Then he turns to the gods and says, "Now, show this useless old man your true power." A lightning bolt strikes at the feet of Gestal, sending both he and Kefka to the ground. Kefka giggles in delight as he watches the Emperor get to his feet and try to run, yelling, "Yes, run, run, or you'll be well done," only to get struck down by another one.
I love that Kefka never can land a punch, but can't land a punchline. He says the dumbest shit in battle.
With his dying breath, Gestal warns your group that the world is about to learn the meaning of the word fear, as Kefka yeets him off the side of the flying mountain.
Oh, fuck.
With nobody to stop him, Kefka begins moving the stone gods, disrupting the power balance between them, laughing the entire time, saying that nothing and nobody can stop him now. Then, a whistle is heard, and Shadow comes diving down from nowhere.
It's about damn time.
He pushes the statues and uses them to pin Kefka between the three.
Ooh.
This releases the spell placed on your party, and the group can move once more. Shadow tells you to run. He'll catch up, because the floating continent just became the falling continent,
Oh, fuck.
giving you only 6 minutes to escape and jump to the airship below before it plummets to the ground entirely, as chunks are breaking off and falling little by little. The spot to jump is on the far end of the island, so you book it. Now, I said you have 6 minutes, and that's true. But you really only have 5 minutes and 55 seconds. Because you need to get there with at least those 5 final seconds if you want to escape with everyone alive. Because even if you get there with 4 minutes to spare, you have to wait for those last 5 seconds, as Shadow finally catches up and leaps to the airship with you. You land on the airship, just as Kefka breaks free from being trapped. And in a rage of absolute insane fury, he unleashes the warring triad on the world in a moment that will shake the core of anyone who touches this game.
Oh, God.
Kefka shoots meteor-sized magic at the ground below, destroying entire ecosystems and wiping out millions of lives.
Fuck me.
The blackjack splits in half, sending your party flying in every direction as you lose the battle and Kefka destroys everything. The camera gives you a view of the planet from outer space, so you can see the chaos on the ground below. You watch a continent rip in half, with explosions covering every surface of land visible. The screen fades to black, along with all sound, and words appear saying, "On that day, the world was changed forever."
You just lose? You lose?
You lose.
Fuck me.
You fucking lose. Millions are dead, and the world's actual structure is reshaped. The camera looks out at a new world. The ocean a darker color, almost purple against a burnt orange sky. It settles over a very tiny island in the middle of the ocean, with a single run-down old house, as if it had been part of a former neighborhood, reduced to a single square-mile island, far from anything or anyone. Inside the lost home, Sid, the former head of the Magitech research facility, tends to a bedridden Celeste.
Oh.
She wakes up and looks around, asking how long she's been asleep. Sid says that today marks 1 year exactly.
We're a year later?
A fucking year later.
Holy shit. This is brave. This came out, you said 94?
94.
94?
And I told you, nobody's come close to setting the bar higher.
No. Holy shit. I'm gonna play this.
Sid was starting to think she'd never wake up. Asking where they are, Sid explains that when the world ended, he woke up here along with Celeste and a few others. He's not sure if there's anything beyond the shores of this island. He's been kind of stuck taking care of her the whole time. But whatever happened to the world has caused nothing but despair. The others who were here, well, there's a popular cliff nearby for when they give up entirely.
Oh my god.
You two are the only ones left. Caring for Celeste being the only thing keeping Sid going. Celeste thanks him for keeping her alive as well. He says, of course. He's known her since she was a child. They're already like family. Celeste asks if it's okay to call him Granddad then. He laughs at the request and then starts coughing and wheezing. Celeste realizes he's not doing so well himself and offers him the bed. He says he's hungry, so you take control of Celeste to go catch some fish. Going back and forth between water and house, you bring fish to feed to Sid. Some fish make him feel better, some make him feel worse. The worse the fish, the worse he feels. Until one time you return, and he's not moving.
Oh my god, she's alone.
Celeste falls at his bedside crying, begging him not to leave her on this desert island alone. But it's no use. He's gone. Celeste sobs, alone in this desolate world. Then she remembers what Sid told her earlier about the cliffside. She climbs the cliffs as an orchestral version of her opera song plays. On the edge is a dead bird, as this world has taken everything and everyone. Faced with no hope, Celeste pitches herself off the side of the cliff,
Oh my god.
leaving a trail of tears in her wake as her song concludes. Celeste washes ashore, having survived the leap. Crawling through the sand, exhausted and angry at her failure, she glances over and sees a bird with a piece of familiar cloth tied around its injured leg. Remembering Locke doing the same for Interceptor with a nearly identical piece of cloth, Celeste says, "Locke, you're alive."
Oh my god.
You return to the shack and look around. You find a note that says Sid had built a raft while you were in a coma. It's one of those, if you're reading this, I'm probably dead notes. It says to try and escape. What else have you got to lose? Just please don't give up hope. hope is all we have left.
Hmm.
You find the raft in the basement of this house and pull it to the water's edge. Then you hop on and let the currents do the rest, hoping for salvation. So real quick, you can save Sid here.
Really?
Yes, there's good and bad fish you can feed him.
Yeah.
And if you feed him enough good fish, he lives, Celeste doesn't jump off a cliff,
Oh, God.
and Sid just gives you the raft and makes you promise to visit if you survive.
Oh, that's a much better route.
Yeah, but, he can die, and that other version does happen.
Fuck me.
You float for a few hours, then come upon a shore. It's nearby where the capital city Vector used to be, except there's no longer a metal castle or a city there. Instead, there's a gigantic tower made of the remains of Vector reaching high into the sky. You find a town still intact, and find it to be mostly how you remember before, if not for a few buildings being run down. Kefka allegedly lives at the top of the tower you saw, and when a settlement doesn't listen to his commands, he uses some insane magic to take out the town. You end up running into Sabin here. He's helping rescue a child from a collapsing building when you do.
Oh, my God.
After securing the kid, you celebrate finding him alive.
Yeah.
He asks if you thought something as small as the end of the world was going to do him in.
Oh, I love Sabin.
He's been looking for the others, but everywhere he goes, he ends up needing to help someone in need. Figuring he'd run into somebody eventually, and here you are. So the two of you set out to get the band back together. Then we smash Kefka and return peace to this world of ruin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sabin heard about a town nearby that was taken out by Kefka's magic and wants to check for survivors. The town is practically underwater, with only a few barely standing houses left. But you see a young child run inside one and follow. In the basement of the house, you find a sort of refuge dug out of the earth. Dozens of children are here with nary an adult in sight. The one you followed threatens you, but a voice tells him to stop. Tara comes from one of the rooms in the basement, and the boy asks, "Mama, are these your friends?"
Oh, she's had a busy year.
Tara explains that the Light of Judgment spell Kefka used killed all the adults in town. They hid the children down here and tried to fight back.
Mm.
She arrived here very shortly after and has been caring for these children along with two older teens.
Okay, so she didn't pop out like a legion of
No.
babies that grew magically. Okay.
You ask her to join the fight, but she refuses, saying she can't abandon the kids. Wishing you luck on your attempt, though. Something inside her changed the moment she saw the look of hopelessness in the eyes of the children out here. She can't fight anymore. While you'd love to have her with you, it's hard to argue her point, as the two teens are not equipped to do this alone. Plus, the girl teen is pregnant now.
Oh, God damn it.
You leave, and shortly after you do, a monster that was unleashed when the world ended attacks the town. Tara tries to battle it, but is quickly knocked out. Celeste and Sabin return, having heard the commotion, and defeat the mighty Humbaba.
Humbaba.
Tara barely recovers, saying, "See, I wouldn't be good in a fight anyway," saying that she needs time at the very least. So, you leave her for now to go look for the others. Wanting to catch a boat to South Figaro, you head for a nearby port town. There you find a band of thieves, who say their leader was killed when the world went to shit. They were all being held captive in Figaro Castle for being thieves. It was underground when shit went wrong and got stuck. They managed to break out of jail and find a cave system that allowed them to get out. But Figaro Castle is still stuck underground. Their new leader, Jared, is awesome, and he wants to break back into Figaro to steal all its treasure. You see Jared, and he looks awfully familiar, especially to Sabin. You approach asking if he's Edgar, and he tells you to fuck off. Sabin's like, "Seriously, you could be his twin."
Sabin saying that is fucking crazy.
Again, he dismisses you and tells his men that they're taking a boat to South Figaro. Then from there, it's off to the secret tunnel they found. Sabin and Celeste stow away on the boat Jared commissioned and ride with them to South Figaro. Once in South Figaro, you follow the band of thieves to the secret cave entrance. When you enter the castle, you see Jared checking on citizens that have been trapped down here for a year, making sure they're okay and saying he's here to help. while the thieves head straight for the kingdom's treasures. Jared leads the group deep into the castle's guts, where the machinery that operates the dive function is, telling them the treasures are just beyond the engine room. It has been taken over by giant sandworms.
Oh, the goddamn sandworms.
Jared sends the thieves into the treasure room, saying he'll take care of the sandworms. Once they're gone, Celeste confronts Jared once more. He turns to her and says, "What are you standing around for, Celeste? Give me a hand." Officially reunited with Edgar, you defeat the sandworms and free up the controls for the castle.
Yay. And is Edgar just the letters rearranged for Gerard?
Oh, yeah.
I love that. Ah, that little sneaky sneak.
The three of you hide while the thieves exit, who assume the sandworms got the best of their new boss. They take off with the treasure, but Edgar feels it's a small price to pay to save his kingdom. Now, with the gears freed up, Edgar resurfaces Castle Figaro near Locke's hometown, Collingen, which is now separated from the South Figaro side by a body of water instead of a mountain range. Here, you find Setzer, shit-faced and alone at the local tavern. After the blackjack split in two, he gave up on everything. He thought he ruled the sky. But now monsters do, as the world's end unleashed all sorts of new horrors, just like the beast that attacked Terra. Celeste tells him to snap out of it and stop being a whiny little bitch. He fought like a boss when he thought he could save the world. Now come fight to avenge it. He finally agrees to get his shit together. Then, completely without context, says, "Let's go to Daryl's tomb." Celeste asks, "What's at Daryl's tomb?" Setzer gets up to leave the bar. Then at the door, he turns back and says, "A spare set of wings."
I'm sorry, he walks, 20 feet before answering her question?
Yeah.
And it's we haven't met a Daryl yet.
Nope, not at all.
So what the fuck, man? He's a little drunk. We met him at the tavern. I'm sorry, I answered my own question. That's the tequila talking.
There it is. You arrive at Daryl's tomb and ask who she was. Setzer says she was a dear friend and the bravest woman he's ever met. They built their airships together and loved racing them.
Oh.
Hers being called the Falcon. One day, she set off to break the record for soaring higher and faster than ever before. It took Setzer a year to find the wreck in a distant valley.
Oh. Literally too close to the sun.
He restored it to its original condition, then retired it in this tomb in honor of his friend. The four of you board the ship, which is buried deep in an underground cave.
I love that he has this moment of we had this beautiful thing together. We built them together. I restored it in her honor. And she's not going to fucking miss it now, so let's ride this bitch.
Then, somehow, you come flying up out of the ocean.
That's great imagery.
And the Falcon soars high into the clouds once more. Setzer says that with the Falcon, you should be able to fly to the top of Kefka's tower to kick his ass. But also to find the rest of your friends. But honestly, only if you want to. Technically, even Sabin was optional to obtain again.
Oh.
He was just so close to where you landed, it was very natural to find him first.
Oh.
You genuinely only need Celeste, Edgar, and Setzer to complete the game.
That's too lean.
The rest of the game is grinding and finding your friends, as well as very powerful magicite and weapons. There are also 2 more party members you can meet, but both are silent characters, and we haven't met either of them before at this point. Because the truth is, the game was supposed to conclude on the floating continent.
Oh.
You were to beat Gestalt and Kefka, save the world, the end.
I thought that's where we were going, to be so fucking for real.
But they felt the game was too short and lacked any further stakes.
Oh.
So with only a couple months left in development, they pivoted to having the player lose and have to regroup for the actual final battle.
I know that was a stressful war room to be like, all right, hear me out. What if they fucking lose?
Oh my god, right?
And then what happens? A year goes by. I'm sorry, what? It's a blue sky meeting. Let me cook. And then we get the gang back together. Like, homie, what?
Wild, but it works.
Ugh.
So with that in mind, some of our friends didn't get much thought put into where they are a year later.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of speed through getting them all back together because it is best to have them all.
That's what I would feel best about. You got to bring everyone together.
Yeah, otherwise going after Kefka with just 3 of you would be absolutely insane, even if they were all maxed out. So now that you have the airship, You stop in a nearby town where people talk about an older man coming through recently, calling everyone thou.
Cyan!
There's a woman here as well who has been receiving love letters via carrier pigeon.
Oh.
She and her boyfriend were separated after the calamity, so this is all they have. She shows you a letter, and you immediately recognize it as being written by Cyan. Who else uses thou so often? She asks you to send a pigeon back to him, and you agree, deciding to follow the bird. You find him at the top of Mount Zozo, where he had been sending that poor girl love letters, pretending to be her boyfriend.
Oh.
He met her when he came through town, and she seemed so incredibly sad at losing her boyfriend, so he set out to find him. Discovering he had died, he decided to ease her pain by pretending to be him.
That's not good. That's a little Dear Evan Hansen-y. Let's not do that shit.
You catch him catfishing, and he's embarrassed.
Yeah, man.
He had already written a letter telling her the truth and was in the process of sending it off. With that lie behind him, he joins back up, saying that he did run into Gao a while back, who said he was returning to the Veldt. You get Gao back the same way you met him originally, out on the Veldt. Gao has a really sad side story here as well.
Oh.
You find his dad alive,
Oh my god.
living in a small shack all alone. Everyone works with Gao to get him some fancy new clothes, get him some etiquette lessons, and clean him up so he can be reunited with his dad.
Oh.
But his dad rejects him once again,
That son of a fuck.
saying that the upstanding citizen before him could never be that demon child he threw out all those years ago.
That motherfucker.
A choice he has never regretted to this day.
Fuck you.
Gao just nods his head and leaves, happy to be with his chosen family.
Mm.
While on the Veldt, you visit the cave where Gao hid his shiny treasure. Here, you find Shadow,
Oh.
who was just double-crossed by his most recent employer. Having been stabbed, he was bleeding out in this cave when you found him. You decide to fly him back to Thamasa, the Magi village where Relm and Strago lived, to recover. Shadow lies in bed, struggling while asleep, and you assume he must be having a nightmare, which we then get to see.
Oh no.
Shadow is out of his ninja outfit, just a regular man. He's standing in the center of town in Thamasa. Interceptor comes running up to him, and he tells the dog to go back. Interceptor needs to stay here and protect Shadow's daughter,
Oh.
pointing towards Strago's house. He turns and walks out of town. Interceptor disobeys his owner and follows behind him instead.
That's why Realm and Interceptor were so good together. Oh my god.
If you sleep at the inn here with Shadow in your party, you'll get some more backstory on why he left and shit as well. But neither Relm nor Strago are here in town. You find out Strago joined a cult when he couldn't find Relm,
Oh god.
assuming she died. The cult of Kefka, to be exact.
Fuck.
Fortunately, you find Relm in Jador, the wealthiest fuck town.
Yeah.
She's been hired as a painter by the local rich guy, and she's been making a little living for her 11-year-old self.
Rich people fucking love paintings of themselves.
You have to fight an evil spirit she was commissioned to paint that came to life. And after that, you take her to Strago, who is so relieved to see her, he quits the cult life and rejoins your party.
He throws his robes down. He's like, I'm gonna grow out my hair. Let's fucking do this.
Visiting Narsh, you find Mog, all alone in the Moogle settlement inside the mines.
Mog.
When he returned, they were all gone.
Oh, buddy.
But he did hire the local Yeti to help him find food.
You said the local Yeti.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mog.
To find him, you head to the peak above Narsh, where the frozen Esper is still standing. You help break it free from the ice, and it offers you itself as magicite. This reveals a pathway that you follow to the Yeti's cave. There, you're introduced to Umaru, the Yeti. He does talk to Mog, but after that, he's mostly silent. He acts on his own in battle, and is very useful for a new place called the Colosseum.
Ooh.
It's a battle arena for people to test their skills. Ultros runs the concession stands.
God, what? He survived. Of course he fucking survived. Those motherfuckers will survive the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Every fucking time. Uncle Ulti out here. Please tell me he's got like popcorn buckets in each of his tentacles.
That'd be perfect, right?
All right, I know you said concessions. I imagine him as like a hot dog hawker with
Yeah,
like
right?
hot dogs in every arm with a little paper hat. Oh. I can't decide if I love or hate him because it is truly both.
It is genuinely the last time we will see Ultros, though.
Oh, that's too bad.
And his buddy, Mr. Typhon, fights in the arena.
His sneezy friend.
Yes. So you are only allowed to send in one character into the Coliseum, and they are put into like auto battle mode. Since Umaru is always on auto battle, or berserk mode as the game calls it, he's the most reliable to use during the Coliseum battles. The other best character to use in the Coliseum is the other new character you can recruit. You find them by getting eaten by a very specific enemy who happens to have a cave system inside their tummy. At the center of the maze inside this cave, we are introduced to Go-Go, a character covered from head to toe in clothing and scarves, almost like a traveling merchant. They never say a word, but you can tell they're grateful to be rescued from the belly of this beast.
Oh, yeah.
Many has speculated that it could be Setzer's friend Daryl, but there is no canonical history to this character, as you can't even determine a gender under all that clothing.
They're just like, wouldn't that be cool?
Go-Go is a mimic, so you can make them into whatever you want.
Oh, that's fun.
Go-Go can hit people with a blitz, and then chainsaw if you set them up correctly.
God, I love a chainsaw.
While they're optional to obtain, they're also essential in battle. As for Locke, he's also in a cave. This one out in the middle of the ocean. He's searching for a legendary magicite called the Phoenix. He's been looking for it for years, but didn't know it was magicite until recently. You take him back to Collingen, to his long-lost love Rachel, still mystically preserved. The magicite explodes into a million pieces over her, and her eyes open. She says the Phoenix just sacrificed its power just to give her a few moments, so let her speak. She thanks Locke for everything, saying that in her dying moments, her thoughts were on him. But please, get over the dead girl and move on.
Oh.
He has a lot of love to give, so give it to someone living, like the cute blonde chick over there. Then she dies, telling the Phoenix to return its power to Locke. She lifts into the air and vanishes, leaving behind the image of a giant flaming bird across the entire screen.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Locke's heart now at ease. He's ready to take on Kefka.
God, I wish closure was that easy.
With the last of your friends found, you take everyone to visit Tara, just in case this is the final goodbye. When you get there, she's dealing with the teen couple who are fighting about the logistics of bringing a newborn child into this shitty world.
What a fucking nightmare.
While they argue, the shitty world rears its ugly head, and that monster returns to attack the village. Tara begs you to go handle it, so you do. This guy has the same sneeze ability as Mr. Typhon, and quickly takes out 2 of your party members. Tara comes running out of the house, and seeing her friends knocked to the ground, transforms into her Esper self, and kicks the monster's fucking ass.
Yeah, there she is.
The kids come outside, scared of the new all-white creature that just arrived. Then one says, "Mama? It's you, isn't it?
Oh.
I can tell." Then they all run up to her, jumping up and down excited.
Wait, that's so cute.
Seeing the children cheer her on, she agrees to come for the final showdown. Heading to Kefka's tower is basically the point of no return. So you can grind, finish side stories, or collect the most powerful things you can find, such as Sabin's final and most powerful blitz technique, Bum Rush, later changed to Phantom Rush. He learns this move when he finds his Master Duncan alive and well.
No. Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
This motherfucker.
He faked his death and is living in a hut out in the middle of the forest.
He must have tried to get away from his bullshit ass kid.
That's exactly what he was doing.
His son was so annoying he faked his death.
Yep.
That's hilarious, actually. Go off.
Hearing that Sabin is going after Kefka, he teaches Sabin this very powerful attack.
Great.
Now, Ready to kill that clown-faced fuck Kefka, you board the airship and fly to the top of his tower.
Let's go.
As you approach it, Celeste starts to second-guess the mission a little, saying that if they destroy the Warring Triad, as it's the source of Kefka's power, it will destroy all magic. So what does that mean for Terra?
Oh.
The question stays on the air, as you're instructed to create 3 teams of 4 characters. Because this final portion will require as many party members as you have to spare. You puzzle solve your way through this labyrinth of a tower, working your way toward the Mad Clown. Each group destroys one of the 3 members of the Warring Triad. And when you do, you notice that everyone still has the ability to use magic. Which means Kefka had drained them of their power to such an extent, he's become the 3 gods in one.
Oh my god.
You reach the very peak, where Kefka greets you all saying, "Welcome, friends!" How was that? I've been practicing it for the last year because I knew you'd be back for round 2.
Holy shit.
You tell him that his reign of terror ends now. He mystically lifts Sabin and tosses him across the room,
Jesus Christ.
asking, why do people insist on creating things that will be inevitably destroyed? Why cling to life when you know you're going to die someday? And nothing that you have ever done will have mattered. You shout back that living is worth it when you have something to fight for, something to love and to flourish. Kefka asks if each of you have found your thing worth fighting for. Each member of the party lists off the thing that they are fighting to protect, saying stuff like, a brother who always looks out for me, my obnoxious grandfather, and new pals, Kupo. Kefka goes, boo, you guys sound like a self-help book, but thanks for telling me what you're fighting for. Gives me something to aim at.
This little bastard face.
With that, he uses his Light of Judgment spell that leveled Terra's town and unleashes it on another. The party screams out at him to stop, and he laughs, saying, you're lower than the dirt that stuck to the dirt on the bottom of his shoes.
Why are his shoes so dirty?
Because there was nobody there to clean it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He stands tall and says that he will destroy everything because nothing and nobody matters. You tell him that as long as one person lives, then their dreams will go on. To which Kefka says he will leave them with nothing to dream about. Besides, guys, you can't save the world without it getting a little destroyed here and there. People need their lives to be in danger if you're going to save them, after all. As he blasts off more magical energy, killing thousands more.
Oh, God.
You all rush forward, and the final battle begins. You're told to create an order for your 12 characters. The fight comes in 4 rounds, and if a character dies in battle, they will be replaced by the next one in line between rounds, requiring you to be strategic about where you place your strongest characters in the lineup. If you don't have anyone left in line, you move on to the next round, down a player.
Oh, shit.
You have to fight Kefka's many sides to his personality, 9 in total, climbing higher and higher up a statue in his honor, depicting the 9 sides of him, with the statue portions attacking as you do. Finally, you reach the top, the 10th and final form. The original one-winged angel,
Oh?
Kefka. 10 times the size he once was now, a genuine god among mere mortals. From this height, the sun pierces the clouds, casting a golden light on the battle screen, as if heaven is peeking down on this fallen angel, fighting to destroy the earth, and the people who are determined to stop him. The God King Kefka unleashes hell, and you return the volley. Kefka's final laugh is cut short as you deal a killing blow, and you hear the crackle of death that signals the end of Kefka's unholy rule.
Fuck yeah.
You watch as the sheer force of energy within him dissolves his body from the inside out.
Good. Fuck you.
With him dead, his tower begins to collapse. Terra transforms into an Esper and tells everyone to follow her. Then she falls face first onto the ground, unmoving. The magicite you've been carrying rises into the air and begins to dissolve the same way Kefka did, as all magic in the world vanishes. Terra gathers her strength, saying that if this is to be her final act, then she'll spend it getting everyone out alive, treating us to a 24-minute-long cutscene as the icing on this masterpiece of a cake. Something unheard of in the Pixel era, especially.
Yeah, that doesn't even happen that often now.
The credits roll, but not in a traditional sense. The credits are for the characters, giving them each a final moment to shine during this daring escape down the actively crumbling tower. Moments like Locke saving Celeste from falling down a pit, giving him a chance to redeem himself for his failure with Rachel. As well as Terra getting to say goodbye to her father's magicite as they pass through the remains of the research facility just before he fades to nothing.
Oh, God.
While Shadow takes this opportunity to disappear from his daughter's life one more time, telling Interceptor to finally go and keep an eye on his daughter like he was supposed to do 11 years ago.
Hey, man, you can be better, but okay.
If you hadn't saved him from the floating continent, his credit just shows a panning shot of the world passing under you.
Oh.
The final credit being reserved for you. Terra gets everyone back to the airship, which is docked. She jumps into the air, saying she'll clear a path and to follow her. She blasts rocks and other obstacles out of the sky as you race toward the open air, away from the collapsing mass. Finally, amongst the blue sky, Terra's light begins to fade, and Celeste says she's not going to make it much longer, and tells Setzer to catch her with the ship. He nosedives fast, and when he jerks back up on the controls, everyone falls to the floor with the extreme forces he just put them through. But he managed to catch Terra, who is no longer in her Esper form. Now, back as a human, with her green hair up in a ponytail as usual. Setzer smiles, saying he told you it was the fastest ship in the sky. The actual credits begin as the Falcon flies over the world, watching the many celebrations at the fall of evil. Terra stands at the front of the airship as it passes over the town full of children, seeing the teen mom holding her new baby, waving up at her.
She gave birth in the middle of this?
During all of that.
Oh, God.
Setzer kicks it into high gear, and Terra takes the band out of her hair, freeing it and herself at long last.
Oh.
The end.
Fuck me. I was on the edge of my seat the whole fucking time. That's incredible.
That was Final Fantasy VI.
I need that adapted. I need that remastered. That was incredible.
The number of times I have begged for a true remaster of this game in my life, can't even count it.
Oh, God. And the commentary is good. I think it would be good for people to experience right now.
Right. It's a little relevant still today.
Yeah. No gods, no kings, no masters.
Yeah.
It's probably good for everyone.
Oh, goodness. So thank you so much, Goombas. Like, this, to me, is the most important story ever told in gaming. So,
who are your favorite characters?
Sabin, Edgar, Cyan, Gao.
I loved Edgar off the bat. I mean, I know, that's a lie. I didn't like him off the bat, but he grew on me.
Celeste, Terra. I mean, honestly, a lot of people argue that maybe Celeste or Terra could be argued as the main character of this game if there was to be a main character.
Yeah.
But it truly is an ensemble piece.
I feel like between Edgar, Locke, and Celeste, those were at least like, and Terra, but like, Terra's kind of the fresh eyes in the world coming into it out of, you know, being, losing all her memories.
You kind of need that character in games. So you can explain things.
Yeah, you need the intro character.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fucking great.
I am so glad. It is a game that I have avoided doing just because I was hoping, beyond hope, that I'd get you to play it someday.
But now I know what happens.
But now you know what happens, so you don't have to.
I could just listen to this episode, Tom.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
And so can I, because honestly, it's still a long game to play. So I don't have the time to always play it a lot.
Yeah, we're a couple hours in, so...
If that was your first time listening to us, please make sure that you like our show, that you subscribe to it. You can do all the things, leave comments.
We love reviews.
You can check out our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
Over there, we have links to everything like our Instagram, Discord, item shop, and Patreon, which keeps us ad-free. free thanks to our patrons.
You would all have room on my airship.
So let's go, starting with Oliver, Natalie, Norris, Rochelle, Sailor Gaming,
Charlie, Matt, Whiskey Pro, Brenna, Mabel, Zane, Chucky Ride On,
Patrick, So Thanatoasted, Mike, Anthony, Conrado,
Unga Boonga, Sneaky Walrus, Owen, Luigi, X of Triforce, Anderson,
Steve, Adam, Janik, Nick, Jake, Renee, Katrina,
Rain, Cafford, Roman, Big Winter Hat, Joshua, Anne Marie, Lil Brimstone,
Landon, Honorbon, Anna Versed, Zan, Alex, Jutsu, Mozart, Tamia,
Hibbity Hoppity Cthulhu on your property, Ian, Danny Boy, Zira,
There Once Was Us, Big Cat PDX, Chase, Alfredo, Mikolaj, Teramek, Amber,
Berserk Panda, QM1993, Damien, AJ Porting to the Bridges, Trenton, Omar, Aaron,
Unuseful, Molly, Krisha, Molly Mock, Jackie, Jacob, Ellen, Steamed Hands from Albany.
You're all very welcome on our ship, even though it might be a tight squeeze, but that's okay. We're all friends here.
Yeah, join our party anytime. Thank you so much for being here. We got a couple more episodes left of this season, and as always, this is Tom and Andrea reminding you,
Fuck Kafka. Kupo.
and don't skip the cutscenes.
Kupo.
Bye!
Kupo.